over 150 times for Newcastle United. Afternoon, Warren.
Afternoon, how are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. I mean, tell us about this summer on Tyneside. You know, there's 3 debuts in the team today. It has been a summer of change. What positives can we take going into this new era under Matthias Jaissle?
Yeah, it has been a difficult summer. You're losing key players, but you're getting good money for them. Players that didn't want to be at the club, players that we actually stood by when they had their problems and paid their wages. They wanted to leave, but I think they've done good business. They've got a lot of money for them players coming there. But Ross Wilson, the sporting director, has brought in some good young players. Only time will tell how that's going to develop. You know, 3 of them get the opportunity, and I think that will grow. And I think the occasion now with Eddie Howe leaving, it didn't end particularly well last season. And what I wouldn't have liked is maybe not to start the season off very well and then a few people booing and asking him to leave. He doesn't deserve that, Eddie Howe. He's magnificent at this club, and everything comes to an end. You know that. It's one of them things. He's moved on. I'm really impressed with Matthias, the coach. I think he's very forward-thinking, 38 years of age. I think they like to play on the front foot, like to be aggressive. It should be an entertaining game. We know with Liverpool they come along, and it's quite ironic that we're talking about Kevin Keegan, a lot of greats that are here to wish him and send him off in a good spirit. People like Peter Beardsley, Les Ferdinand, Tino Esplea has come all the way from Colombia, myself from America, Shaka Hislop as well from America. We wanted to be here for him, and it's going to be an emotional occasion, but like John said, I think when the game gets going, a lot of attention will be on Isak, and I'm sure we know when he's on the ball by the cheers or the boos from the crowd.
Warren, hold on, we're going to the Dutch Grand Prix all over. Jenny Gow.
Yes, and Lando Norris has won the Dutch Grand Prix. The Orange Army up in raptures. Their man didn't win, but papaya orange will have to do for them. Max Verstappen going on the first lap. It is Norris that gets 2 wins on the bounce. Kimi Antonelli in 2nd place, just giving up to George Russell in 3rd. That sees Kimi Antonelli leading the championship by 66 points in round 12. But Lando Norris is the one. He's described his win as gorgeous as he goes round the final time of the Dutch Grand Prix in Zandvoort.
And a try of the rugby, Sharon Shorter.
And it's gone the way of York Knights. Sam Wood scoring this time off a Paul McShane kick. He had an effort disallowed before the half-time break. This one has stood, but Leeds have scored since that half-time break as well. Matt Lodge going in on his debut. It's York Knights 6, Leeds Rhinos 40. We've played 9 minutes of the second half.
Sharon, thank you so much. Let's head back to St James's Park. John Murray, our football correspondent, is alongside Pat Nevin and Warren Barton. Pat, how excited are you to watch this new Newcastle team? But there is an element of unknown about it. We do know, though, that William Asula leads the line for the Toon with Nick Voltemade on the bench. Interesting decision from Jaissle.
Yeah, but very attack-minded, as John alluded to earlier on there. It's both teams will play almost a 4-2-3-1, but it's kind of a version of 4-4-2-4. So they're so attack-minded, but both teams will be like that when they're attacking. So you have that sort of attitude. Both managers think they can go out and win this game. So honestly, I'm expecting an incredibly attack-minded game. So many uncertainties. You see, Asula, certainly a player that needed to mature, but I've watched him mature over the last year or so, and he is getting better. And there is no doubt he has got real qualities, real skills about him. He's got good pace. He's got the eye for a goal. Yeah, but there's other things you have to add to the game, and he's slowly but surely added them to the game. So he's getting the nod up front just now, but there's lots and lots of good players. Another thing for Newcastle to watch out for, Gravenberts and Shobis like Gakpo and getting in to help them in that midfield there. They'll be up against Sean Stewart and Miley, 18 and 20. That's the central midfield that Newcastle are putting out just now, while leaving so many players up front. Or they'll come back and help a bit, but it just tells you the belief that Newcastle have on Miley and Stewart coming in just now. So all sorts of things could happen. John also mentioned Ngamo scoring that late goal. I was at that game. See if we get anything like that today, it'll be an absolute cracker of a match.
I'm interested, Pat, to look at that Liverpool centre-half combination. Jeremy Jacquet coming in from Rennes in February, stayed there on loan for the rest of the season. It feels like a good little match. He's going up with the captain, Virgil van Dijk, and the opportunity to learn and grow alongside him. Yes, that will help, but Virgil's had 1 or 2 wobbly moments. I mean, everything being relative, let's remember, he is unbelievably brilliant. I think was great last season, but there have been 1 or 2 little wobbly moments there. So
he'll be looking for the pace of the younger Jackie, to cover him a few times as well. But yeah, there can't be any better to learn from. Not only the quality he's got, but also the personality and the leadership that you've got from Virgil van Dijk. But it's a big ask. You know it yourself, Aaron. If you make any mistakes as centre-back in the Premier League, you get punished. So, Jackie, you've got to learn quickly.
Big opportunity as well, Warren, going forward for Liverpool. Obviously, Alexander Isak and Florian Wirtz, not really their creative best last season, but for Cody Gakpo as well, it feels like a fresh start for him under Andoni Iraola. Although, with what Iraola demands from his wingers and his attackers, he's going to have to work hard.
Yeah, I think that's fundamental how they want to work Liverpool. They've got pace, as Pat rightly said. Both teams want to go forward, want to express themselves. Wirtz as well is coming off the back of a World Cup that wasn't great as well, but I think he's a tremendous player. Isak, we know about his qualities, and as I said, you can hear him now getting booed as he's running off the field. He had a little smile to the Newcastle bench as well as he went past, but they're attack-minded. They've got outstanding players. The two midfield players are excellent. They've got quality throughout, and with Newcastle, as you rightly said, it is a little bit of the unknown, but with that is the fear factor's not there. They can go out, express themselves, and I tell you who will play a big part in this game will be the fans of Newcastle, getting behind the team. It's going to be emotional. It's going to be a big occasion, but they understand the situation. I was in Newcastle last night speaking to people, and they know where the club is. They know they need help, and there's no better fans in the world to do that than the Newcastle fans.
John, I know that a mosaic is about to be lifted for Kevin Keegan. It's one in those boos. Were they for Alexander Isak?
Yeah, as Warren said,
surprise.
That's the first flash of emotion I've seen from Alexander Isak. As Warren said, there was a little smile towards someone he saw in the Newcastle dugout as he was leaving the pitch, so someone's obviously said something to him.
There might be someone giving him a kick as well.
I think so.
If we was playing, he'd be getting a kick from me.
And Aaron, they have unveiled that mosaic in the centre circle, which is really effective actually, because it's been made, as I say, of these 500 black and white striped Newcastle shirts, and there is colour in the centre as well, so they're probably a mixture of perhaps the shirts of the other teams that Kevin Keegan played for during the course of his career, and it's been really nicely done, and they're just making sure now they're straightening it out so that it'll look absolutely perfect when the players come out and the full tribute begins.
Yeah, John, as well, what's been great is that you've been Sunderland fans that have given shirts. All the different shirts have been put in the middle of Kevin's name, and then all the shirts have been put outside. You can just start to feel the emotion in this magnificent stadium. The fans realise there's a real energy, but there's a real togetherness as well.
Warren, I mean, what was it like for you going from the hustle and bustle of the crazy gang to being an entertainer under Kevin Keegan?
It was an honour to play for Kevin Keegan. He gave me the opportunity to come to, as he tapped me on the shoulder when I signed, come and join a big club, and I would never have thought the chance to be an honour to play for this club, to play under Kevin Keegan. He's an icon, he's a hero. It's been a sad time for everybody in Newcastle, but now it's our time to pay him back, and we owe him everything, because without him giving me that opportunity, I wouldn't be standing there. Nearly 8 years I played, 220 appearances. It was an honour to play for him, and it was an honour to play for this football club.
I can see, Aaron, now that circular mosaic over the centre circle itself, as I say, all of the black and white stripes, but the colour in the middle of the other shirts actually spells out the word legend. And as we always say, that is a word that is quite heavily used, but for Kevin Keegan, certainly for these two clubs, and the role that he played in English, in British football, in European football, that is absolutely apt for Kevin Keegan.
It's quite ironic as well that the first game is at home against Liverpool. It's in the football gods, as it was. We might even get a 4-3. We never know, and hopefully it's with us, and we get it. But as Pat Nevin rightly said, it's going to be an attacking game. Both teams want to go forward. Both teams generally think they can win this game. We've seen what's happened at the weekend with the Premier League. It hasn't disappointed, and I don't think today will either.
Can I quickly say, and if we get a 4-3, I'd love it.
Well in. Warren, where you're sat right now, it's a special place. It's a cathedral of football. It's incredible, St James's Park. And one thing about that city, as you all well know, is if they buy into you and they love you, they love you eternally, and it's a beautiful thing. And they loved him so very much, didn't they? What was he like? What was he like for the people of Newcastle?
He gave them hope. He woke up in the early 90s a monster of a football club, a giant of a football club, and we wouldn't be where we are now without Kevin Keegan. One, as a player that he did, but also as a manager. He had the drive with Sir John Hall to put this football club where it belongs, in the top flight, challenging, competing, but also, more importantly for Kevin, people work hard Monday to Friday, at the weekend go out and entertain and be part of that. So it was an honour to be part of that. It was such a special time, and a little bit now goes from us. All the players that we've had here have lost that, because he gave us that. He gave us that opportunity, and we owe him everything.
Well, Warren, we really appreciate you coming and sharing your memories of the late great Kevin Keegan with us on 5 Live Sport. Enjoy the game. That is Warren Barton, ex-Newcastle United full-back. John Murray, the boos for Alexander Isak. Loud there. If they love you, they love you. If they don't, well, you know about it.
Yes, absolutely. And Warren's actually just left us here. He's just stepped out of the position where we're sitting, and he's making his way up the stand now, and he's going to be sitting alongside, as you mentioned, Tino Asprilla, Peter Beardsley. Lee Clark is there, the Hartlepool manager, who spoke so brilliantly. I don't know if you heard when he was on 5 Live Sport on the night that Kevin Keegan's death was announced. So Lee Clark is there, Ruel Fox, Steve Howie is up there, Rob Lee as well, Liam O'Brien, Darren Peacock, Steve Watson, and of course Alan Shearer is here as well. And just reading out some of those names, I mean, you could have housed probably hundreds of players who Kevin Keegan touched over the course of his time, and they would probably all love to be here and witnessing this.
Absolutely. Pat, I recall you saying you had a story to share. We all want it.
Yeah, it's simple. I came down to Chelsea when I was about 19. It's just the first month or two, we were playing against Newcastle United, and they had Peter Beardsley, Waddle, I think McDermott was playing as well, and of course Kevin Keegan was playing near the end of his career. And for some obscure reason, we absolutely hammered them 4-0. And I had one of the best games I've ever had. And I watched at the end of the game, 4-0 ahead, and the player working hardest on that pitch was Kevin Keegan. The guy who'd won 2 Ballon d'Ors, the guy who should have been furious walking about. No one was putting in more effort at the end of that game than him. And he came over to me after the game and he said some incredibly kind words about how I played. And I just said to him, look, I learned more from just watching you today, mate. He was absolutely lovely to every single person he's with, and kind and giving and considerate. And considering hyperstars are usually totally involved with themselves, he is precisely the opposite. And the fact that every single fan, every single player who worked with him, everybody who knew him within the game, knew that he was a legend at every level, but also knew he's just a great bloke, somebody you really liked and really loved.
John,
really miss him.
And on the screens now, Aaron, inside St James's Park, very fittingly in black and white, some of the Newcastle great moments that he had are being replayed on the screen. And in the Gallagate end, to my right, on black banners in white writing, they've put up words that were spoken by, as it says on the banner, Joseph Kevin Keegan, and it says, I want people to dream about their football club. They should. We should all be dreamers at heart. Some people are the opposite and say we can't do that. But when you ask them why, they can't give a reason. Well, I say, why not? Those the words of, as it says on the banners in the Gallagate end, Joseph Kevin Keegan. And opposite now, with the sun shining down on St James's Park and blue skies above, a tifo has been unfurled from the roof of the East Stand. And again, most fittingly, I'm looking straight across the pitch at it, and it hangs right underneath where it says in big black block letters, Newcastle United. And above that, the flag of Newcastle United and the crest of this city, right in the middle of that, is fluttering away. And underneath that banner, Kevin Keegan's face from his time as manager, right in the middle. To his left as well, later, as his time as manager with a sweatshirt on. To the right of that, Kevin Keegan is a Newcastle player with a black and white scarf around his neck, and 2 more images as well of that time when he came here as a player, and underneath in golden letters, King Kev. And all around now it is black and white in almost every area of St James's Park. Flags have been raised, black stripes, white stripes, all apart from the Liverpool section, high to our left, where the red flags are there. And on a red background, the white block letters spelling out the name Keegan, and in the lower tier of the Leazes end, the red number 7. And a banner as well up there from the Liverpool supporters, which reads, Keegan is the greatest that Shankly ever found. And it's so important as well to mention Bill Shankly, because when you talk about Kevin Keegan, Bill Shankly is right at the heart of everything that Kevin Keegan stood for. Pat Nevin.
He did, and I think that Shankly knew and understood he was a great player, but also he was the heart and soul of the club for the period of time he was there. It was unimaginable that he could ever be replaced, and he wasn't replaced. Someone else came, and it was Dalglish came and became another hero, but he is thought of just as highly. Kevin Keegan and Dalglish similarly highly, similarly loved. It could be, you think of number 7s in the history of any football clubs, if anybody had ever had more than 2 as good as Keegan and Dalglish, 2 of the most brilliant 7s ever.
It's an amazing sight here inside St James's Park to listen to this and to watch what we've got all around us. Over 52,000 people paying tribute to Kevin Keegan. We knew this was going to be emotional, and honestly it is. He spent 14 years of his professional life and career dedicated to Liverpool and Newcastle United, and I must say as well, the Keegan family are here today, and they have had a letter published in the match programme. So the words of the Keegan family, who say the last weeks have been some of the hardest our family has endured, and it says love and warmth from the northeast has reached our hearts and filled us with so much comfort. And they'll be setting up there, Pat, somewhere behind us, and you can only imagine, can't you, how much this will mean to them.
It is. You see many things in football that people have lost. This is up there the most emotional scenes I've ever seen at a football ground. And it's so magical that Liverpool could be here as well, and it's Newcastle fans, family, friends, teammates, and anyone listening that work with or just love Kevin Keegan, knowing how important it was and how much he's loved. This is a church to Kevin Keegan just now, isn't it?
Well, Pat, that is the word, love. And we're about to get the huge cheer when the players come out. But what a tribute to Kevin Keegan, the man who was born on the 14th of February, Valentine's Day, will be forever by these 2 clubs, and everywhere he's been, he will be loved and remembered forever. To this backdrop, the teams walk out into the middle of all this, into the Tyneside sunshine. Liverpool led out by Virgil van Dijk, and in the absence of Dan Burn, it is Malik Chow who leads out the Newcastle United players. And now suddenly, Hey Jude will change into the Premier League music. The tifo comes down on the far side of the pitch, and the chapter changes, the page turns, and we are ready now for, well, really, new starts for Newcastle United and Liverpool.
Actually, I can't wait for this one. Of all games of the weekend, there's been a lot of exciting ones, but this is the one I was thinking, really looking forward to this one, because it should be so open. It's 2 attack-minded sides. And by the way, it's not a matter of they're just going to get introduced to the new manager. Just a small detail, and he's getting a good reception as well. I just hope it's the kind of game that Kevin Keegan would have loved. I really do. And I kind of expect it will be, because the build-up's been that sort of way. There's an attacking-minded outlook to both sets of players as well, and both expect to go out and go and attack it. So yeah, I can't wait for this one.
Yeah, and the famous Newcastle music as well, as BBC World Service listeners join us. The famous music they play at St James's Park, Local Hero. And the teams out there on the pitch, Newcastle in the black and white striped shirts, Liverpool in the red. Matthias Jaissle, the new manager of Newcastle United, says in the match programme today, Kevin Keegan wanted not only to win, but also to entertain. And I think this Newcastle team that has been picked by Jaissle looks like a team that has been picked to do just that. 3 debutants, Hornicek in goal, Dedic at right back, Sean Sturr in midfield, Chow and Botman the central defenders, Hall at left back, but then 4 attacking players, Alanga, Wissa, Osula and Barnes. So that has plenty of potential.
Yeah, again, it kind of had to be an open team. It had to be given a chance to be an open game, and I think it will be. And it's, as you say, it'll be entertaining, exciting, but just one more poignant moment left.
A cheer for Local Hero, and now in the sunshine around the centre circle, the players stand with arms round one another's shoulders, and we will have that final tribute to Kevin Keegan before kick-off.
And the love shown for him and his family in recent weeks has been overwhelmingly heartfelt. We will once again unite to show our love for Kevin with a period of applause, which will start and end on the referee's whistle.
There's only one Kevin Keegan. The players break away. Couldn't help there thinking back, Pat, when he came back for the second time as manager. I was here that night, FA Cup tie against Stoke. He was delayed. I walked past where I parked my car and I was thinking, remembering how it was, people were literally dancing in the street. Keegan got here late that night, and when the match was going on, these doors opened and Kevin Keegan walked in here, and it was like Elvis had walked into the building.
It's incredible. That was incredibly moving, wasn't it? I looked around quite a bit here. There are a lot of people very, very emotional. When I say a lot of people, an entire stadium of people, and rightly so. He was one of the greats of our game, and well, he'll never be forgotten.
Liverpool are going to kick off, and who's going to get the first touch of the match? Who's going to kick off? Alexander Isak does that right now, and the match begins, and Newcastle win it back, and then there's an appeal for handball. Osula took the ball on through the middle, it bounced up, hit the arm of Gravenberch, and it is given as a free kick to Newcastle in the centre circle. And the Liverpool team, you'll gather that Alexander Isak is in it. It's the first time he's played against Newcastle since that acrimonious departure last summer. Alisson in goal, Frimpong, debutant Jacquet, Van Dijk and Kirkes, Szoboszlai and Gravenberch, Ungamoa, the 17-year-old who scored the winner here last season so dramatically, Wirtz, Gakpo and Isak. Newcastle free kick. Lewis Hall, Newcastle attack towards the Leazes end. He flights it into the box. It's headed goalwards, but an easy catch for Alisson after it was nodded on from Lewis Miley. Actually, it was in there. I think Lewis Miley's grown another couple of inches over the summer since I saw him last.
He is going to grow up to be a very, very special. At 20 years of age, he's filled out a bit as well, which he probably had to. Let's see if he can put the quality on top of that as well.
Yeah, as Pat said, 20-year-old Lewis Miley in midfield alongside 18-year-old Sean Sturr, one of the new arrivals. So there's a lot placed on them by Matthias Jaissle, the new manager of Newcastle United, new manager of Newcastle, new manager of Liverpool, Andoni Iraola, all in black, just down to our left, watching his team attack Liverpool from left to right. Verge for the chance, shoots, but it's blocked by Lewis Hall, who went down almost a long barrier by Lewis Hall, going down on one knee, and the ball is cleared away, and we get a first sight of Matthias Jaissle. We're seeing his style as the ball was cleared to the halfway line. He's wearing a black suit, he's got a black armband on as well, of course, like all of the players have, and he was right up the touchline there applauding his team. He's going to be animated if that's anything to go by.
Yeah, no surprises there. You can't not be animated with what's going around and the feeling that's going around here. The game has started at a great pace, a great intensity. You know, some games start and as they pass, they play their way into the game. None of that here at all. They're going for it.
Honestly, Pat, what we've witnessed there, that was truly memorable, wasn't it? The pre-match.
Very emotional as well. And yeah, there's all the stuff that was organised and structured before it, and that all was great. But the noise, it took me off my headphones there, and to listen to the noise and the singing, and it was, you can only call it passionate, and as you say, absolutely filled with love.
Yeah, passion, emotion. As Newcastle win a free kick, centre field. Newcastle, who got a terrible record against Liverpool in the Premier League. Liverpool unbeaten in their last 19 Premier League matches against Newcastle. However, when Newcastle under Eddie Howe won the Carabao Cup, you'll remember that it was Liverpool they beat in the final at Wembley. Here is Botman, left-footed away downfield. There's Jaissle on his debut for Liverpool, winning a first header, and then the ball's played over the top for Isak, right side of the penalty area, but Hall comes in and is cheered to the rafters for putting in the tackle on his former teammate and taking the ball away from him in the box.
Do you think you need to commentate Isak's name at any point today? I doubt it. Very interesting. Right away now, any player could kind of jump out at you just now. The one that's jumping out at me is Sturr. His position, he's only 18 and he seemed to be the playmaker for Newcastle already, playing that deep midfield area. He does not lack belief and confidence, but spent a lot of time marking Wirtz as well.
Yeah, there's interest all around the pitch. So many of the players, not least Ungamore on the right-hand side. Gravenberg, that's nice. Takes the ball to the edge of the area, plays it square. He might have had a go himself, and he didn't. He was unselfish. It seemed to open up from Newcastle break. Oshila's taking the ball over the halfway line, then passes it forward. Elanga could be in, right side of the box, scores! Newcastle take the lead, and it's lift-off for Matthias Jaissle and his Newcastle United team. All of the pre-match Kevin Keegan emotion suddenly pours out, boils over, spills over. The place is an absolute ferment, and it's Newcastle 1, Liverpool 0.
Absolute and utter mayhem around here. And by the way, what a brilliant goal. And you can see it coming 5 or 6 seconds before it was scored, because Kerkez, he was trying, he actually had a couple of yards, but he couldn't get anywhere near the pace that Langers had gone through there. The ball was played and he left him completely in his wake, and what a beautiful finish. Still, Elanga had run a long way, most of the length of the pitch, but he pinged it into that far corner. What a brilliant goal, what a brilliant start to this game. I have to say, I'm not surprised it's went like this at the start.
He chucked it away brilliantly, stroked it really with his right foot from an angle on the right side of the area. A low past the dive of Alisson, diving to his right, into the back of the net. And Matthias Jaissle was surrounded by his coaching staff down there. Well, that's a dream start. That's what you call a dream start for a new Newcastle United manager. But of course, the opposite applies to Liverpool's new man in the dugout, Andoni Iraola. And it all came from the counter-attack when it seemed to me that Gravenberch, after an excellent Liverpool move, on the edge of the area, had a chance to shoot, but played it square. Newcastle nipped in, next thing you know, the ball's in the other net.
Utterly beyond me why he didn't shoot. Utterly. He's got 20 yards out. Neither Newcastle centre-back went to him. So there's a massive gap in front of him. But he tried to pass it. Ball then broke down. When they broke incredibly quickly. Now, let's not forget, when the ball was played up, there was a lovely through ball as well. And that, because that through ball was timed perfectly, Alanga got on the end of it and scored the goal. And, well, you pray for an early goal sometimes. We've got it. This should be so over.
And what was it that Warren Barton said on 5 Live just before the match? Wouldn't it be wonderful if this was a match that had lots of goals? Maybe 4-3. Well, an early goal in a match like this does sometimes lead to that sort of thing. Let's see. It's a perfect day as well. I crossed the River Tyne in the train today, and the Tyne was sparkling away. Even the Tyne Bridge, which, as I always say here, needs a bit of love and attention. Even it looked great today. And here's Gravenberch moving infield into the sunshine to Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai is closed down by Sturr. Pat's already mentioned him. Vert. Here's Ngomor on the right-hand side. The 17-year-old cuts it back all the way to the edge of the area, and it's cleared away by the goal scorer, Alanga. I'm not sure how no one got to that. The ball seemed to roll a long way. Vert puts it in. That's a good-looking ball, but that's cleared away by Botman with his left foot. And then that was quite a physical jump by Harvey Barnes. Vert went down rather easily. Certainly Matthias Jaissle is asking the fourth official, Tony Harrington, about that, but referee Stuart Atwell immediately whistled for a foul.
He stood static, Verts, and waited for the hit, but when the hit came, that was an elbow as well. Now, because he had stayed static, maybe that's why he's getting away with it, but Barnes needs to be careful there.
Newcastle United 1, Liverpool 0 is the score. 8 minutes played. Set piece opportunity. Szoboszlai, after such a good season last season, plays it in, and Van Dijk was underneath it, but in amongst a crowd of players. Well, he appeared from my angle here to head it over the top of the crossbar.
I thought he headed on top of the head.
Yeah.
We shall see there's a somewhat... Well, we've got something in front of us here, but it's not a big enough one to see.
It seemed to me as well that the Liverpool players were turning and heading back towards the halfway line, and then the referee gave the corner.
I think you're right. I think that actually came out of Virgil van Dijk's shoulder.
Okay. Szoboszlai then to take the first corner of the match. Liverpool already 1-0 down. Szoboszlai swings it in, and it's headed away by Lewis Hall. Cheers from Newcastle United. Back to the halfway line. Here's Kirkes, who really made his name in this country playing for Iraola at Bournemouth. Ball right-footed from Szoboszlai into the box, then it bounces down. Chance for Gakpo shooting from the angle, but that was blocked inside the penalty area, and Newcastle are able to smuggle it away. Although Szoboszlai's gone down, wanted a free kick. Kirkes actually went down, wanted a free kick. Referee says no, it's a throw into Newcastle, that's all.
And did you notice how quickly he got back up again? Players are learning this season, aren't they? No point in rowing about down there, because you're going off if you're not injured.
Yeah, well, for all the things that weren't great about the World Cup, and we thoroughly enjoyed it, didn't we, during the course of the time that they were there. One of the great things, I was saying this with Michael Brown at Brentford last night, was and it's been adopted now in the Premier League. People will have got used to it, and indeed in all football in this country, if you go down and ask for treatment, you have to go off for a minute. Newcastle breaking forward with the goal scorer Alanga. Kirkes is there as well, and in the end the assistant is flagged on the far side. Alanga trying to win it back. I think he fouled Kirkes, and it's a free kick to Liverpool in their left back area. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, Kirkes is suggesting he get a kick in the head there. Now he was on the ground there, he's getting helped up. It's one of those ones of, it was a very odd angle that the second tackle came in for, and there might well have been contact with the boot in the head. But it's classic one of those ones. You're probably still going to have to get off if you don't get up and get on with it. Kirkes has got a problem, and not just a head problem there, but also the fact that we all know already that purely in terms of pace, he hasn't got the pace. In comparison to Alanga, he's not going to get near him. He absolutely isn't going to get near him. So he has to give him 2 or 3 yards. But you give somebody 2 or 3 yards, they might still run past you with the ball. Tough afternoon already for Kirkes.
Newcastle United leading by 1-0 as Wissa is bundled over by Kerkez, and that's a free kick to Newcastle. And now Kerkez is probably getting fairly close to the first booking of the match. He'll have to watch himself. Ball played up towards Harvey Barnes here on the left-hand side. Barnes plays it down the left wing. Hall on the chase down towards the corner flag, and he's watched all the way there actually by Ungamoa. Excellent work from Ungamoa. Slips it though to Barnes inside the box. Barnes couldn't cross it, comes back to the Newcastle man. Then a touch from Wissa. Back out to Hall on the left-hand side, and then back towards the halfway line. Because we spoke so much about Kevin Keegan and the tributes before the match, and we didn't really speak about Wissa and what sort of season he might have for Newcastle with the injuries that he had. You know, he missed the first months of the season when he became a Newcastle player as the ball's played over the top. Alisson's got to come out of the area and head it away. Wissa goes for goal, but he sliced that horribly from 30 yards. And it's gone off at right angles and out for a throw-in.
John, you nearly teed that up so perfectly there, but he let you down at the last moment. I think had it been on his other foot, I think Wissa might have made a better chance there. But you know, Alisson came out there, he didn't get a huge distance on the head. And I was surprised that he came out of his box there, so I think he gets a little bit lucky there. But you know, that attack is good. Iraola seems to have, as I say, he's grown over this season. He's got plenty of pace. He's fearless when he gets on the ball. He wants to take on anyone, and maybe that is the big... Surprise, surprise, who's on the ball. But that is the big thing about Newcastle. They're happy to sit back a bit now because they know on the break that they can make hay while the sun shines here, because Kerkez is not lightning, and Virgil van Dijk is still brilliant, but is he as quick as he used to be?
That's the voice of Pat Nevin, former Chelsea, Everton and Scotland winger, as Wirtz plays a pacey pass that's got too much on it. Ungamoa can't reach that, not even Ungamoa. And it rolls over the white line for a goal kick. So this is our 6th Premier League commentary on this first weekend of the new Premier League season, the 128th season of top flight football in England. First played back in 1888. Liverpool, champions of the season before last, but what happened to them last season, finishing 5th, no trophies, spelt the end for Arne Slot, as Alisson clears from inside his penalty area. So that is why we have new starts for both Newcastle United and Liverpool. Seems strange, no Eddie Howe anymore. Frimpong carrying the ball forward for Liverpool, but Hall does well. He's made an excellent start to the match, Lewis Hall. And then a left-footed pass way out towards the right-hand side. Alanga can't reach it, and it bounces out for a throw-in, but he turns and applauds Hall's thought and intention.
Well, we see the plan, don't we? We know the pace is there. Footballers are very quick at this level to realise where there's a weakness, and because Alanga's shown earlier on that he's got the pace of Kerkez, first thing that Hall thinks, even though he's left back and he handed over to the right-hand side, he knows that if he plays that ball right, Kerkez is not going to catch Alanga.
Already today, Brighton, handsome winners, 4-0 against Aston Villa. In our earlier 5 Live commentary match, Manchester City coming back from a goal down against Andoni Iraola's former team to win by 2-1, their first match under Enzo Maresca. West Brom 3-1 winners against Burnley. We'll have more reaction to all of that at half-time. And 6:06 tonight, the first 6:06 on a Sunday night of this Premier League season, with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton to talk about it. Sturr getting a huge ovation in midfield for his play there. Excellent midfield play from the young Dutchman, but then overhit the ball downfield, and Alisson's got it.
They know their stuff up here, don't they? That's the first couple of times he's got the ball, and already you can hear the Newcastle fans cheering just the way he won it, and he looks so comfortable in the ball. When he's got the ball, he just cruises by players. He's a really nice looking player still. Let's see if he can keep it up.
Yes, former Ajax youngster looking good and comfortable on the ball. Shock as there's a foul by Gakpo, centre midfield. Newcastle take the free kick quickly. Alanga into the action. He's looking for Dedic, the new Newcastle right back. Amar Dedic, 24 years old. He was signed from Benfica for around about £30 million, but he is a young man who did actually play for Jaissle at both Liefering and Salzburg. So Jaissle knew what he was doing, knew what he was getting with that signing, and he's starting. Of course, Livramento, one of the Newcastle players, like Byrne and like Joe Linton, who are out injured for the start of this season. And there's a misplaced pass by Sturr.
That's disappointing, because there was a great ball onto Hall.
Yeah, and Liverpool might look to take advantage of this, but the black and white stripes have got back into position. Ungamoa forced back to the halfway line and using Frimpong.
Great urgency about Newcastle, isn't there? Really close in, not giving anyone real space as soon as they get into that final third then.
Here is Soboslai going back to the halfway line. Newcastle in these new look shirts this season, which are even more barcodish than ever before. Lots of thick and thin black stripes on the white background, and Liverpool in one of the sort of throwback shirt to some of the old Liverpool shirts with sort of white flecks on the red. Ball played out to Ungamoa. Here with his socks down, Ungamoa taking on Hall, gets a chip towards the back post. That is headed away by Dedic, but only to Isak. They used to love him here, now they hate him. Still going, Isak down towards the corner flag, then turns it back to Kirkes, puts a foot on it. Kirkes' low ball into the penalty area, only half cleared by Chow. Then the shot comes in from Wirtz, and that's a very good first save in a competitive match by the Newcastle goalkeeper Lukas Hornicek, diving down to his left.
Well, I'll see you very good, and I'll give it brilliant, because not only was it going into the corner, but it was bobbling in front of him as well. They are the hardest ones for goalkeepers to save, but the fact that it bobbled, it came before players, I think that is a brilliant save.
Did it get a deflection as well? Here's the corner. Oh, and Van Dijk dives through it, doesn't make contact, and then it is wildly with his left foot thrashed high over the top of the crossbar and behind into the Gallagate end for a Newcastle goal kick. So Newcastle United 1, Liverpool 0 is the score here, with 17, almost 18 minutes on the clock. Let's get an update from the York-Leeds Super League match. Sharon Shortle.
And it's finished here, it's ended. York 16, Leeds Rhinos 66. The Rhinos go back top of the Super League table after a display where they scored 12 tries, including a hat-trick for Riley Lum. It was a more competitive second half, but Leeds were really a different class today. It finished York 16, Leeds 66.
And also full-time in the other 3 o'clock Super League match, where Warrington have beaten Huddersfield by 34 points to 24. And right now, your choice of listening, Sports Extra, commentary from the County Cricket Championship, and that will be the case on Sports Extra 3 as well, so you'll have a choice of Championship commentaries, and you can find them all on the cricket pages of the BBC Sport website and app.
Just telling the listener that the favourite player Sturr was the reason why he's getting a lot of interest. He plays in the position Jorginho used to play, just getting on the ball all the time, sometimes going between the centre backs. Always wants to be on the ball.
Ball passed away from the edge of the box by Sturr. Comes back at Newcastle. That was a sturdy challenge by Sturr as well. And then a foul on Elanga by Kirkes, and that's a free kick to Newcastle near the edge of their own penalty area. 1-0 Newcastle lead.
Right, we're not going to go on about it all the time there, but the amount of times players have held their head and laid down and thought, actually, I need to get up here. It's brilliant. I am loving this, and it's kept the pace of it going. It's great.
I kept saying it, Pat, during our commentaries at the World Cup, because it was so obvious. You had all over pitches at the World Cup players going down and realising they had to get straight back up.
And the thing is,
it's a revelation.
It's a revelation because it could have been done at any time over the past 5 or 10 years, because it's just grown and grown of an abuse of the game, and happily it's been done, but not before time.
Yeah, and of course 5 seconds for the taking of goal kicks and throw-ins, which has an effect on long throws, as Isak can't get the ball down. In fact, the referee has brought it back for an infringement, and it's a free kick to Liverpool inside their own half. What we spotted yesterday at Brentford, though, Michael Brown spotted it, long throw opportunity, then someone goes down inside the box, and that means that the long throw taker has got time to prepare, because the referee will go across, say to the player, do you need any treatment? He'll say, actually no, gets up, and they're ready to take the... So they're already finding ways.
It's an arms race. It's always an arms race to find your way around it.
Here's Gravenberg, playing the ball out towards the left-hand side. The gap pull. Kirkes takes it on. Kirk has his ball across, and Hornicek, the goalkeeper, went down, got something on it, blocked it away, and Newcastle clear it away.
That's a big lift for Kirkes because it's been difficult for him defensively, but we all know he's superb at overlapping. Fullbacks are going to play a big part in this today because Hall, he can get forward as well on the left-hand side for Newcastle.
Here's Matthias Jaissle again, skipping down the touchline here, out of his technical area. Fourth officials all over the Premier League will be onto that. Newcastle haven't got it away yet, but they do now through Botman. And underneath that, Jacques has headed it straight to Wissa. And Wissa, as I say, I'm expecting him to have... I could see Wissa, the way that he played at the World Cup. He's got a point to prove this season. Missed so much of last season. Only scored 3 goals in a Newcastle shirt. Hasn't scored since January for them. But I thought he looked very dangerous at the World Cup. Should have scored it against England, if you remember, again.
Yeah.
In that match against DR Congo. As the ball was played out towards the right-hand side. What a pass that was from Lewis Miley. And that's taken down on the right. And that's wildly hit by Dedic, but it took a deflection which carried it wide. Was an opportunity for the new Newcastle right back, but he's got a corner out of it.
Tells you the story though. He is willing to go forward as well. It's telling you the importance of the fullbacks in this game. Dedic, we've not seen it yet. We've now seen it. As soon as his winger comes off the line, he just goes. It's as if he doesn't think about it. He flies forward there, got himself in a great position, probably made the wrong decision there. But that's a real danger for Newcastle going forward.
Yeah, he is Amar Dedic, Bosnia and Herzegovina international, was at the World Cup, Austrian born, and that's the first time we've seen him get forward into that kind of position. Corner to Newcastle then, Hall in front of the Leazes end, in it goes, but it's headed away by Gakpo, unchallenged, got up high, got good distance on it. Newcastle come again though. Here is Harvey Barnes, no Anthony Gordon anymore, no Bruno Guimaraes, no Sandro Tonali, who didn't have a great afternoon yesterday. Watching him in his first Premier League match as a £100 million footballer, he was very much put in the shade, but Tottenham had a bad day yesterday.
They certainly did. And when you think of no Tonali and no Bruno Guimaraes here, you think that's incredible for how important they've been at the club. The amount of pundits and people in the game that I've heard saying, don't worry about that too much. There's a lot of young players coming through. They might actually do okay in that position, Newcastle.
Yes, Hall puts in a challenge on Isak, who's gone down. Matthias Jaissle, not far away from this, is suggesting that there's not much wrong with Isak. And referee Atwell's not given the free kick, so Isak will have to get up. And now Wissa passing the ball forward. Osula could be under this. In the area, who's challenged by Jacques. He's gone down. The ball bounces away. But there are no obvious appeals for a penalty in that, although Wissa is saying to the referee, how about that? The video assistant referee will be having a look at this, certainly.
Again, the pace is incredible. I think he just gets a touch on it himself. Both players going for a better angle on it here. I tell you what, that would be a harsh penalty. I thought he got the ball there, defender, but he was under pressure, struggling with the pace. Certainly up front, the pace in Newcastle looks fabulous just now.
Yeah, Stuart Atwell says the check for a penalty has been completed. He's indicated that players back underway.
I would agree. I think we got that one right. Yeah. But Jacques under a lot of pressure there. Again, every time it goes beyond that back line of Liverpool, they're struggling for pace in comparison. Newcastle
1, Liverpool 0. As Isak plays it back to Szoboszlai. Might have got a little tug back from Wissa, and goes down and gets the free kick, and it's a yellow card for Wissa.
It's the lightest of drags, the tiniest of drag backs, but it's a drag back, and he's behind him, and it's a silly challenge to make, so he's got that yellow card, and I don't think he can argue about it. Well, he will argue, but there's no point.
Free kick for Liverpool. Szoboszlai, very effective. Remember last season, I think he scored 5 goals from free kicks of the 13 that he got for Liverpool last season.
Do you think he's close enough to have a dig?
I do.
I agree. It's right on the edge.
I saw a few with him, Pat.
If it wasn't Szoboszlai, I wouldn't be so sure, but he can do it from here.
Yeah, the Hungarian with the lank hair, some of it tied up at the back of his head, lifts up the front of his red shirt, wipes his face. Newcastle have put Dedic down, lying down behind the four-man Newcastle wall. This will be between 25, closer to 30 yards out. Szoboszlai looks to his left, the referee Atwell has a little word. He's ready to take it. He can make the ball move. Szoboszlai hits this, but straight into the chests of the wall, and it bounces away. Didn't get that one right. And suddenly, like the proverbial jack in the box, Matthias Jaissle is bouncing out of his coaching area and away out of the technical area as the ball's played forward for Osula. Osula running at Frimpong. He's got no support there at the moment. Still going, the leggy Osula, and then plays it infield. There's the support arriving from Elanga. Now out to Barnes on the left-hand side. Barnes looked to play it past Szoboszlai, but it bounced back onto Barnes and out of play for a Liverpool throw.
He's so improved, Osula. I think, last season watching it, he was so raw in times, but then again, he's sometimes trying too hard because he wasn't getting that many opportunities. And looking at him now, he's very, very comfortable in that centre-forward position.
Yeah, he improved during the course of last season as Gravenberch gives it to Wirtz, and then to Gakpo. Gakpo shoots, but that was blocked by Chow. He managed to get himself in the line of the shot. Wirtz, we've seen some lovely touches already in amongst everything else from Florian Wirtz, who it's been suggested, I've seen in a number of quarters, for Wirtz it's either sort of sink or swim for him this season. Well, he's made a good start. Ball comes into the middle, the Hall heads it away. Frimpong trying to find a position on the edge of the box, twisting and turning. Barnes was able to get in and pass it away. Liverpool again in the shadows now, cast by the Milburn stand. Played to Frimpong, bounced away from him, and Botman just put his foot through it and cleared it to the halfway line.
Yeah, they're under a lot of pressure, but they expect that as the game goes on. That's what Liverpool are very, very capable of doing. But they always know they've got that long ball just lumped up. Having said all that, keep an eye on Osula. Kind of limping a little bit just now. I think he was hurt in that challenge before.
Liverpool come again on the left-hand side. Gakpo cuts it back, but there's the cover from Elanga. Back, helping out. Dedic. And in the end was able to play it away long. But Van Dijk comes across. Chests it down. Virgil van Dijk. 35 years old now. This is the last year of that 2-year contract he was given. And then Szoboszlai now out to the right hand side. No Salah anymore, but it's Ngumoa who is playing in that role. That's a bit of pressure, mind you. 17 years old, maybe doesn't feel the pressure as Miley is fouled, and the referee actually, even though Newcastle were breaking away there, he'd already given the free kick. So I don't think Newcastle will worry too much about that, because it's been played at quite an intense pace. Free kick.
It has been. You talk about Ngumoa there, but he's up against Lewis Hall, and that battle on its own has been great to watch so far. Hall has got the upper side of it, I would suggest, so far. However, the striker always knows you only need to win it once.
Lots of players who didn't go to the World Cup feeling they've got lots to prove. Ball's played by Jacquet. Kirkes hits a shot. Hornacek straight at him, really. He was able to go down, parry it, and then pat it again, and then pick up, and he's got the ball. But of course, the countdown will be on. Yeah, Stuart Atwell says to the goalkeeper, the Czech international goalkeeper. He was part of the squad at the World Cup. He cost around about £25 million, and Nick Pope not involved today, so I think the expectation is that Nick Pope, as Newcastle win a free, and it's another foul by Kirkes incidentally, and the referee does indeed get the yellow card out to show to the Liverpool left back. Told you, Pat.
Yeah, so did you call that very, very early indeed. But the pressure that Kirkes is under just now, he's up against, just watching Elanga last season, it was a bit up and down. There wasn't real certainty and belief as much as they've seen in previous parts of his career. However, you look up now, he looks as if he owns that position, doesn't he?
Yeah, it was a lovely goal that he scored. Here's Barnes cutting infield, and then he is bundled over by Frimpong, who chased after him. He goes down. That might be a yellow card. It is as well. So in the space of really a matter of seconds, both Liverpool fullbacks have been booked, and he can't argue about that.
Well, yeah, again, there's a little drag back. I actually think Harvey Barnes has got a little bit of his shirt as well, to be honest with you. But if you're a wide player, this is your dream scenario. First half, 30 minutes gone, your fullback's on a yellow card, and he's walking on eggshells. You just get the ball and run him every opportunity.
So it's a free kick, good position. Andoni Iraola is having a right moan about that to Tony Harrington, the fourth official.
I think Ursula fancies this one. That little limp has suddenly disappeared. Now he's got a chance of a shot from 33, 32, actually maybe less than
I think
that.
less, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 26.
Yeah, round about that sort of range. Osula, who did score 9 goals last season, and remember he scored in the 3-2 here. He scored a very good goal in that 3-2 match. Do you know, it kind of looks as though it might be Hall.
But he's an unusual angle, he's looking at it, Osula.
Yeah.
That's a curler.
Osula to the left, Hall to the right of the ball. Osula comes up, and he does hit it, but hits it straight into the wall. Comes back to him, left foot shot, miss-hit it, hits Szoboszlai, and skitters away wide of the goal for a corner to Newcastle.
And he's limping again now, after hitting that terrible free kick into the wall. I think he actually has got an injury. It's one of those ones where, under previous rules, he'd have stayed down after that challenge, you know, they've got a lot of bad treatment. But he doesn't want to do that now. He stayed on the pitch and he is limping quite considerably, Osula.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live. We're on the World Service as well, wherever you are. It can't be a nicer day than it is on Tyneside. Hall with the corner in. And reaching for it was Botman. Very nearly got his head to it. Comes back to Hall. He's on his right foot there, and he's actually challenged and lost it to Wirtz, and Wirtz rides a challenge and then plays it forward to Isak, and then Isak is able to take it on over the halfway line and playing it square, but it was behind Frimpong. He's got it under control though. That's a poor ball from Frimpong. Passed it straight into Stur, and the Newcastle midfielder, the teenager, said thank you very much, and the danger was snuffed out.
It's decision making at that point in time, isn't it? And Frimpong, a player who can play, you know, right back, right wing, right midfield. You'd think in the final third they would have much better delivery than that. And as I say that, Stur just kicked the ball out of play. I think he's arguing that Tal should have been a little bit more on his toes, but you should play it to a player's feet there, so I don't think that's the centre back's fault.
Yeah, and actually on that counter attack, Isak, as Liverpool think they've won a corner over there, Florian Wirtz is asking why is that not a corner after he was challenged, but Stuart Atwell says no, goal kick.
One of the big noticeable things when you watch particularly Isak playing for Liverpool, you know they want to play at a higher intensity, and Iraola will want that. We know that's his style. That's not really Isak, is it? That's not what he's best at. In fact, it's nowhere near what he's best at. So I was just wondering if that's how Liverpool will be able to play.
Newcastle taking a goal kick, and in the end Lewis Hall being dispossessed. Ungamoa, England international, remember, pre-World Cup, is able to play it infield, and then there's a foul and a yellow card
to Miley, I think,
after that challenge. Was it Miley?
Yeah, I think it was Miley
on Gravenberg.
It's one of those ones where I didn't see much in that there, but the referee's much closer to it. It's a foul. I'm not convinced that's a yellow card. I mean, he's actually went to his pocket quite quickly, surprisingly so. I mean, it seems after World Cup it's a wee bit harder to get yellow cards. Not today.
No, free kick, Szoboszlai to take it. Miley in the book. Szoboszlai, nice looking delivery, well headed away though by Botman. Comes out to Kerkez. They tell me that Botman struggled rather in the pre-season matches as Kerkez is challenged by Wisser out there, and it deflects off the Liverpool man and out of play for a throw into Newcastle. But he's not put a foot wrong Botman so far in this match.
Well, he's been up for it, and he's tried to close along with Charles close to Isak, who's had very little change out of either of them, and he's ended up going a little bit deeper sometimes, going a little bit wider than he would want to as well.
Challenge then on Alanga. Newcastle fans wanting a free kick for that. They didn't get that. Then Szoboszlai on Wisser. That is given as a free kick. Newcastle take it quickly. Here's Botman. Botman then passes the ball. That's nicely weighted as well for Osula. Got a little shove by Van Dijk. The two of them were jostling for the ball, and that sent Osula limping away again.
I think the kick he got was actually in his Achilles area. It's one of those ones where there will be a fear in case you feel as if it's going to go, it's going to pop. And footballers will all tell you the last one thing you ever want is your Achilles tendon to pop.
Yeah, he's hobbling all the way back to the halfway line. So there's nobody out warming up for Newcastle. 10 minutes to go to half-time as Liverpool look to the teenager, just a few days away from his 18th birthday next week. Ngomor crosses, but I think it took a deflection which carried it closer to Hornacek, who was able to deal with it. He's just picking it up now.
It's very interesting to watch Jaissle here. The way he's walking, the way he's been so gingerly walking on his left foot, putting his toe to the ground, but then when the ball was put long there, he was lightning after it. So I wonder if his manager believes that he's really that injured.
It's Osceola who put the ball through to Alanga to score the goal. So you said at the time, Pat, beautifully judged, wasn't it? It was perfect for Alanga, right side of the box, in the 5th minute. And quite the scenes of celebration inside the stadium. All of the emotion, the Kevin Keegan emotion before the match. And then Newcastle score, a noise inside this place. And Newcastle with Hall. It just well flicks it between two Liverpool players to Lewis Miley, and then Miley forward for Barnes inside the box, bumping bodies with Frimpong, who goes down. But between them, I think they were probably too concerned with looking after one another, and the ball ran away and through for a goal.
Oddly, it is the right ball to the wrong player. Had that ball been put through to Osceola or Ilanga or Wissa, they would have got behind it. They would have been in the keeper. Harvey Barnes, a fabulous player, but has knocked at their pace.
I can't see Osceola making it to half-time here. He's really struggling. Liverpool coming forward. Ball played out towards the left-hand side. Wirtz is there, arriving in that position. Wirtz chips it back. Oh, he's looking for Szoboszlai on the edge of the area. Headed away, though, by Miley, who got up high. Does this suggest might be able to get up higher this season? Here's Frimpong. Frimpong now to Ngomor. Been an excellent contest. Ngomor against Hall. Back to Frimpong, his ball in, comes off a Newcastle head, Miley, and then put behind at the back post by Dedic for a Liverpool corner.
Yeah, again, I don't think it was the best ball in the world there, but caused a little bit of trouble. I just wonder if Newcastle's new manager has actually spotted the trouble that he's got.
Surely he's seen that.
He just isn't walking right, and as I say, it's his left foot. It's kind of ankle stroke on his Achilles sort of area, and that's why he's trying to secure it a little bit and not put any weight on it.
Corner then, Szoboszlai plays it in, flicked by Gakpo, and it hit a Newcastle man in the 6-yard box. Might well have been Botman. He's got a pat on the back from Hornacek, so it must have been him, which deflected it wide for another Liverpool corner.
Great delivery there, absolutely phenomenal. That is horrible to deal with. You can just see Virgil van Dijk thinking, I can go onto one of these.
Mass backdrop of black and white stripes behind that goal. Szoboszlai playing it in, headed away by Dedic for Newcastle to almost the centre circle, to Liverpool's Frimpong. Wirtz infield, Gravenberg, low ball deflected all the way through to goalkeeper Hornacek.
That injury, John, Ursula, because he's not running freely and he's not dragging that defence back and causing them a problem, it's really badly affecting Newcastle's play just now, because they can't get up the pitches as quickly as they were doing before. So that's a real problem for them.
Liverpool clear it, but only to Wissa. Wissa then turns it to his left, to Ilanga, and then the return pass doesn't give Wissa a chance. Frimpong cleared it. I think he was fouled by Wissa, but the referee allows play to continue, and Newcastle have got it back. Stir to Hall, who couldn't keep the ball in play. I think he thought the final touch was off a Liverpool man, but it was the throw in to Liverpool. Quick ball forward, but Chow was there for Newcastle, and with his right foot lifts it out of play near the halfway line.
Newcastle fans will be aware of this. It's got a little bit ragged for them now. Obviously playing at the tempo they've had to play at. They've not had as much of the ball as Liverpool as well, but they've put in so much effort. But you need all 11 players, or all 10 outfield players doing that, and you can see a little bit of tiredness that's coming from the front, as we say, with Osceola. So I think they'd be happy to get in here 1-0 at half-time.
If you're on your way back from the earlier matches, we'll have reaction coming up. Newcastle have given it away. Gravenberg hits the shot, but it's blocked on the edge of the box and bounces out away over to the far side into the right back position, where Dedic blasts the ball into Gakpo and wins a goal kick. Yes, reaction coming up at half-time to the earlier matches. Brighton's, well, the best win so far of this opening Premier League weekend, 4-0 against Aston Villa. And Manchester City under Maresca winning 2-1 against Marco Rosa's Bournemouth. Two new managers there. 2 new managers here. 11 Premier League managers are starting a season with their current club for the first time.
Well, it feels like almost within living memory I've never known a league campaign like this, so just trying to gauge who's going to do what and predict or even guess is almost impossible, but it does make it exciting.
It does, and with a number of big personalities have moved on, and I was wondering, who are the managers who are going to pose problems for the officials as the ball is shepherded out of play on the far side. Wirtz and Sturr, and it's a throw-in for Newcastle. I was thinking, I wonder who the managers are who are going to really make a nuisance of themselves, because Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall had a bit of a reputation, didn't they? And then I've already seen Matthias Jaissle in action today.
I've not seen him not in action.
Yeah.
He's just kept on going the whole time. He needs to get out of the suit and get into a tracksuit.
Yeah, he does.
Absolutely. Too much movement there.
Yeah, he's wearing a suit, but he's got sort of beige coloured trainers on with his black suit, white shirt. Wissa, who has been booked already, checked Gravenberg, who went down. It's a free kick to Liverpool, and I think you can tell from the reaction inside St James's Park, like you, Pat. And Andoni Iraola has come to the 4th official and said, what about that for a second yellow card?
Can I say, I think the referee nailed it. He tried to get out of the way. Yeah, there was a little bit of contact there, but he's tried to get out of that, and the referee spotted it.
Well, did say to you, Pat, I thought we might have a few goals in this match, but still just the early one as Elanga is then leaned into by Gakpo in the centre circle. He goes down. That's a free kick to Newcastle. Yeah,
he just couldn't get his pace going. You thought if he gets first 3 or 4 strides away, you'll not catch him, but just get nudged over there, and I think again the referee got that one right. He's went to his card a few times. The game's been made at such a pace that it's not an easy one all the time to referee, but I think he's done a decent job so far.
1-0 to Newcastle. You'll be able to read all about these matches on the football pages of the BBC Sport website and at the clips, Premier League clips, highlights from 8 o'clock, but match of the day for the full package, BBC One tonight, all the weekend matches, and of course match of the day anytime on the iPlayer, and search Football Daily on BBC Sounds, where you will also find all live BBC radio and commentaries to come Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from the Carabao Cup matches, and also you'll find on there Lask against Celtic, with Celtic surely through to the draw on Thursday.
Well, Celtic fans will not thank you for that. 3-0 up, you're absolutely right, but
let's say all but through.
They should do it.
They should do it. Although Lask did show that they have potential. Newcastle coming forward. Elanga up near the edge of the box, tries to chip it through, but it was headed away by Van Dijk. Wissa's going to try a shot all the way across the penalty area. Actually, it could have turned into a useful cross, that attempted shot, had Barnes gambled, but it was beyond him through. Goal kick.
You know, they've not had to put up with a lot of pressure, that Liverpool backline, but they don't fill you with absolute confidence. Each time, the Newcastle get the ball in the final third, they always seem to get across, and the defenders are panic-stricken, but the pace that they're up against as well. And I think the best form of defence for Liverpool is to keep a hold of that ball.
1-0 to Newcastle. Isak, who is cheered because he goes to the ground after Chow sort of leans into him, pushes him over, let's be honest about it, and it's a free kick. Chow cheered for that.
He's not
over the years. Yeah. That is exactly the sort of challenge at any time in football that you would have seen for a returning player like Isak.
Yeah, exactly. Just remember where you are.
And again, the Newcastle United supporters with a clear message for Isak. Free kick played in by Szoboszlai, but headed away back out to the far side. Szoboszlai allows it to roll out of play.
Has indicated a minimum of 1 minute additional time.
You heard that. Szoboszlai swings it into the box, and the whistle goes for a challenge near the penalty spot, and free kick to Newcastle for that challenge on Botman, who is just feeling his hip or the back of his.
Classically, for an absolute fact that last season the physio would be on, It'd take him another 2 or 3 minutes. The game would slow down. And importantly, at this point in time, he's going to be a feature now. You're going to have players out there playing who know they've got a little bit of injury. It's slowing them down a little bit, but they have to get on with it. And it just makes you used to it. It's part of the game now. It's adapted the rules slightly. And Botman's up. He's limping a little bit, aching a little bit, but yeah, you've got to go on with it.
And Oscar seems okay, doesn't he?
Yeah, one of those ones where if it is in that particular area, that's one of those ones that can really stiffen up at half-time. So we shall see what the Feds are thinking at half-time.
And Gamora won't reach that pass from Isak, straight out of play. Newcastle fan down to our left was anxious to send a message out there to Isak, and a steward in front of him tells him to behave and sit down.
And beyond that, Newcastle players warming up before half-time, so you never know, they may be a change.
Yeah, Voltemada is one of them. And there's the half-time whistle. Well, that was very entertaining, Pat. Very interesting, entertaining. The early goal was, it sparked a reaction inside St James's Park, the like of which I have seen and experienced many times before. But the noise and the boos there for Isak just as he leaves the field. And that's the only goal that we've seen. Andoni Iranga's well-taken effort in the 5th minute, which means that Matthias Jaissle's team are winning against Andoni Iraola's Liverpool.
They are. It's difficult to say they fully and utterly deserve it, because Liverpool have had probably most of the play. They've got into the final third quite a few times, but they have created precious little, in front of goal. One great save down to his left-hand side by Hornacek. The ball bounced in front of him, he got it round the post, but apart from that, they've defended very, very well. Impressed by Hall, very impressed by Dedic, and that right back area gets forward now and again as well. Newcastle did seem to falter a little bit when Iraola got injured and wasn't such a threat going beyond. But the further that Liverpool press up, they know that danger of the pace against them, from not just Elanga, who showed it at the start, but from Wissa and from Iraola, is something that they're fearful of and something they need to worry about. So, yeah, a number of problems there that Liverpool have to sort out, and Iraola, above anything else, has to get somebody who's going to create something. And I must say, Isak has come in, and he's almost, you wouldn't know he's here unless the Newcastle fans were booing him. He's done very little.
Entertaining match, although the abiding memory will be that 15 minutes and the Kevin Keegan tribute before the match actually kicked off. But at half-time here in the sunshine on Tyneside, it's Newcastle United 1, Liverpool 0.
John, we just sat here in the studio, took it all in, drank it all in as you described it beautifully. Luckily, we married it up with pictures that we're seeing here in the studio. It was so emotional and incredibly done, just as we expected Newcastle United to do the great man. That beautiful tribute. Pat, let me just turn to you for one quick one. Andoni Iraola, he had his critics last season, but that was the finish of a man who feels confident, who feels maybe refreshed, recharged, and ready for a new challenge. It was great.
You're absolutely right. I don't think he was first choice all the time last season, and if you're not first choice and you're a creative player, it can have an effect on you. You want to believe not just in yourself, but to come from the manager, to come from the stands around you. And it wasn't coming from everywhere else at parts of the season. I saw a lot of them last season. You knew it was in there somewhere, but you look at him now, he is utterly reborn, and nothing gives you confidence more, absolutely nothing, when the ball played through and you realise, I've got him for pace. I don't even need to be good, I just need to be quicker. And he absolutely done Kerkez there. He probably gave Kerkez 2 or 3 yards, and he went past him as if he didn't exist. And then you have to do the hard bit, which is score the goal past the goalkeeper, and you're spot on about that. Great finish into the far corner there, kept it low. John actually described it really well. It had the power. I said ping. No, actually it was more guided than ping. So yeah, the confidence is all there, the belief in that he is the quicker player. And I just wonder if in this second half we might see Tsimikas in instead of Kerkez, because he's not dealing with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Pat, John, thank you so much. Second half commentary of Newcastle versus Liverpool en route. We'll get reaction for wins for Manchester City and Brighton. But at 5:22 this Sunday evening, it's time for the latest BBC News with Joe Critcher.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Colleagues of the two police officers killed in a crash on the A66 near Middlesbrough yesterday have laid flowers on the roadside. PC Matthew Blades and PC Tom Clough died when their vehicle collided with a car carrying 5 young men that was driving the wrong way on the carriageway. They also died. Anna Turley, the MP for Redcar, says the whole community is devastated.
The overwhelming feeling is one of grief and sadness and an outpouring of sympathies for the families. I think people have also really wanted to extend their recognition to the two brave police officers who were killed in the line of duty, PC Matthew Blades and PC Tom Clough, who were in action that night and should have been returning home to their families.
Ross Country has cancelled almost all of its train services after a power cut at its control centre in Birmingham. Fans travelling to football fixtures have been warned services to and from Manchester, Liverpool and Newcastle might be extremely busy. The government says it'll give mayors in 13 more regions of England the power to overrule local councils on some planning decisions to deliver new homes and regeneration. But the Conservatives are questioning whether it's right for councils to lose the ability to make planning decisions in their own communities. And the ball with which Diego Maradona scored his infamous Hand of God goal for Argentina against England at the 1986 World Cup has sold at auction in the US for £2.5 million.
You're listening to Drive on 5 Live. Thank you for joining us. Here are the news headlines.
What is the picture? I mean, is there enough capacity? Where are we?
Often for people that just need a little bit of help, the system won't be able to deliver anything.
What do you think to that statement, first of all?
Lots of people go without the right care and support that they need. They have to pay sometimes really expensive costs out of their pocket.
The day's biggest news.
5 Live Drive.
Weekdays from 4. Listen on BBC Sounds.
5 Live Sport.
With Aaron Paul.
Straight after the final whistle, have your say on 6:06.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
At half-time at St James's Park, Newcastle United leading Liverpool by a 1-0. We'll be back there for second-half commentary shortly. Let's get some reaction, though, to the early kickoffs in the Premier League. They finished Manchester City 2, Bournemouth 1, and Brighton 4, Aston Villa 0. Brighton scored 4 times in the first 31 minutes in their win over Villa. There was no Ollie Watkins for Unai Emery's side. He's been linked with a move to the Saudi Pro League. The Villa boss spoke to John Southall.
Your fans stuck with you to the end, which was admirable. They'll probably be concerned about the performance and maybe the players that weren't here. You mentioned the transfer market. There was no Ollie Watkins here today. Was that your decision not to play him? Was that his decision not to come? How did that play out?
I can't answer it. This is the question for him.
From where we're standing, it looks like it could be the end for him.
The player we were here, when they were available, and when they were in the commitment we need to play and to try to get good result. Of course, today we were unlucky without strikers. And Watkins' issue is one thing he can answer himself. Another two striker, Tammy Abraham, he was with a small injury. Hopefully he can this week again join us to train. Maju as well, he has a small injury, and we needed to play today without the striker. But of course, how we started and how we were planning and how we could as well perform better like we did. Of course, through those players, I think we could do. But with the mistake we made and with the 20-minute horrible 20 minutes we played, we lost it.
Let's hear now from Jack Hinchelwood, who scored twice in 2 first-half minutes to make it 4-0 to Brighton.
We had to suffer for the first 5-10, and then I thought we brought real energy and intensity to the game, and that led to us being 4-0 up. So I thought from then on it was a real professional performance. So yeah, we're really happy.
Yeah. And for you, I mean, how much are you enjoying your football, and how big a season could this be for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving it. I love playing in this position. Sometimes I have to be a bit patient. I don't see the ball as much as I like, but I know I'm popping up in them positions, and today it was nice, turned it into 2 goals, and yeah, that's what I'm working on to help this team.
Obviously the squad's got a bit of a different feel. Obviously Danny's left, a couple more may leave before the transfer window shuts. How do you deal with that and cope with that as players?
Yeah, I think it's a massive opportunity for players like myself to step up into that sort of leadership role, and I'm learning off Donkey and Pascal and Steely every day, how they apply themselves and how they are around the boys. So I think it leaves a massive opportunity for other players to step up into that role. So it's really exciting, and I think today obviously sets the benchmark for the rest of the season. So we need to apply ourselves right now for the next few games as well.
Jack Hinshelwood there talking to our man John South. All lines are open for 6:06, which follows the second half from St James's Park. Chris Sutton is alongside Robbie Savage, and Christoph joins us now. Good evening.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon. Oh, sorry. Got no windows.
It's okay. It all blows into one, doesn't it?
It does. It just, that's exactly what it does. How are we, Chris?
Yeah, I'm very well. 6:06 will be great tonight. I mean, what is going on at Aston Villa? Just listening to Unai Emery talking about Ollie Watkins, and he said this is a question for him. So, I mean, it sounds like that Ollie Watkins didn't want to play. But if you're Aston Villa, they've sold Tielemans, they've sold Konsa, they've sold Rodgers. I think Digne's gone as well. Aston Villa all of a sudden have become a selling club. Banzambi has come in, but you think the seasons and the success they've had under Unai Emery, I would be seriously worried at this moment in time if I'm an Aston Villa fan. And Ollie Watkins, I mean, hopefully this will be resolved quickly, but it does look like he wants away. If I'm a Villa fan, I'm feeling a little bit let down by that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, who's going to play up front for him? That's the question. They've got the young lad that they fought so hard to bring in. His name escapes me now. I'll bring it to you. His name is Brian Maggio. That's the one, Brian Maggio. But he's still 17.
And I think if you looked at their bench today, I think there was like a 20-year-old, a couple of 19-year-olds, just thrown on there. So, Villa, when if you want a challenger on all fronts, you need strength and depth. Villa don't have that. I suppose, if you looked at Villa last season, they had a slow start last season, and Unai Emery is a good manager, so you'll feel that it probably will get there. But it's a really worrying start. Big win for Manchester City. Of course, Enzo Maresca, he needed that. Mark Gahey playing the Rodri role today. That was remarkable. He did all right, but he's no Rodri. But if you're a City fan, you're just thinking, well, we won. Anyway, we got the job done. Bournemouth, did you like that version of Rose? Did you see what I did there?
Yeah, I did.
Aaron. We've talked about Villa. Let's talk about Brighton. Can you go better than last season? Brighton fans, Hinshelwood, he'll be the next one off the conveyor belt. And West Bromwich Albion, they won fair and square this week. And just quickly, Manchester United fans, want to hear from them. I saw the Luke Shaw interview last night after we'd finished 6:06, and he said we could probably have prepared better. I mean, if I'm a Manchester United fan, I'm thinking, what on earth is going on there all of a sudden? I want to hear from Spurs fans again. Have you recovered after getting absolutely walloped yesterday?
So basically you want to hear from everyone.
Yeah.
085 909 693. Chris, you're a joy. I'll catch you next weekend. Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage on the way after second half commentary from St James's Park of Newcastle versus Liverpool. Now, Manchester City snatched the 3 points from Bournemouth with a 90-plus minute goal from Josko Gvardiol. Here is head coach Enzo Maresca.
That was very important, first of all, for the boys, for the team, then for the fans, for everyone. I think we deserve to win the game. We had 3-4 chances before the goal we concede, and probably it's a game that you don't need to wait 90 minutes to win the game. You deserve to win early, but it's the beauty of the football.
In terms of Mark Gahey today, clearly his selection is not a surprise, but where he played today raised a few eyebrows. So what was your thinking behind that?
Just find solution. I'm trying to find different solution. I know Mark from Palace. I always thought that he could be very good in the midfielder. We tried the first 2 days central defender step in as a midfielder, and then the last 2 days we just try him as a midfielder, and I think he was very good.
And obviously scored a crucial goal for you today. And we saw before the game there was a lovely tribute for Kevin Keegan before the match, and I think it's safe to say a player like Ryan Shirky would have been right up his street, his kind of player, and he made a big difference. How tempted were you to start him today?
Yeah, it was there, to be honest, it was the doubt until the last moment. Yes, because then he was working very good in the last days. But again, sometimes we make a plan but sometimes you need to change a little bit. So he was inside, helped the team to win, and this is what we need from him.
Enzo Maresca with Gary Flintoff. Let's get a roundup of today's county championship action. Kevin Howells has been watching Somerset Essex.
Yeah, good afternoon to you. 5 rounds remain in the championship season. Top 3 in the title race, separated by only 5 points. Defending champions Nottinghamshire lead the table. Their win over Surrey yesterday. Warwickshire third. That 1-wicket victory over Sussex for them. But in the middle now is Somerset. After their former England spinner Jack Leach took 5 wickets in the Essex second innings, following on 9 for the match. Essex all out for 412, leaving Somerset to score 102 to win and an 8-wicket victory. Hampshire are bottom of the table after Yorkshire beat them by 39 runs. Leicestershire are second bottom despite a second win of the season for them today over Glamorgan, but there is a pitch inspection there at Leicester. They'll hope to avoid any points deduction. In the second division, chasing promotion, Northampton Kent meet on Thursday, following wins for them both today, third and second respectively. There it's 4 points separating those two teams, and just the one live game over on Sports Extra right now. Worcestershire need 279 to beat Gloucestershire to stay in the promotion race. They're going very well indeed, Worcestershire. 219 for no wicket. That's over on Sports Extra.
Kevin, thank you. Let's head back to St James's Park for second half commentary of this game between Newcastle United and Liverpool. Pat Nevin is alongside John Murray.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Welcome everyone back inside St James's Park, where the attendance of 52,630 has just been announced, and it is a slightly increased capacity at St James's Park this season. I don't know how they've managed to squeeze in some extra seats, but they have. But that is the crowd figure. Newcastle leading 1-0 as the second half begins, and already Kirkes bursting forward for Liverpool towards the edge of the Newcastle box at the Leazer's end. He has to turn and give it to Gakpo, and then Gravenberch is there as well. Liverpool trying to catch Newcastle out at the start of this second half. Ball played through. Gakpo tries to stab it across goal with the outside of his right foot, and it comes off Stir and bounces behind for a corner to Liverpool. Pat Nevin.
Nice sharp start with Liverpool. You get a feeling that Iraola's had a few words to say to them, and one of the ones they sent it to is Kirkes, and the first thing he'd done was fly up the line as if to say, I don't want to be defending, I want to be attacking.
And I should say as well, Ossia is out there. I'm not sure we were necessarily expecting that. Szoboszlai swings it in, glanced goalwards, might have hit the post, bounced back out. There were a group of players next to the post there. I think it was either a player bounced against the post or the ball hit it. Anyway, the Newcastle goal survives, and Newcastle break forward. Barnes to Alanga to his left, edge of the Liverpool area already. Alanga goes into the box and then couldn't find the pass across. Gravenberch stepped in and snuffed out the danger, and now Liverpool break back downfield the other way.
Yeah, it was the wrong decision in the end. You had to go wide. Osler had come the right hand side there with a tricky ball, but had you found Osler there, that was through 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper there. Didn't make the right decision.
As Liverpool vert, then the cross from Frimpong, that's headed away for Newcastle and bounces down for Hall, who is going to take it out towards the left-hand side, and then Newcastle come back to the edge of their box. Just keep an eye on that little screen. I'm intrigued to know whether that did actually bounce against the post or not from the Liverpool corner.
It's a very weird save by the keeper, but we'll get back to that.
Yeah, we will, because the ball has been given to Wissa. Wissa now forward into the penalty area, but it was wide. Osula had to go out towards the left-hand side, then gives it back to Barnes. Barnes ball across, stretch and clearance away by Van Dijk, but only to the edge of the area where Miley hits the shot, maybe 3 yards outside the penalty area, but it flew away over the top left corner and into the Gallagate end, and it remains Newcastle United 1, Liverpool 0.
It was a lovely save. I mean, there was bumbling about, and did it hit the post? No, it didn't, but the little palm out by the goalkeeper was a very weird save.
Yeah, but this was from the Szoboszlai corner, and as I say, a group of players were involved there. Goalkeeper Hornacek sort of pushed it away. I think somebody bumped against the post, hence the frame of the goal shuddering, and it remains 1-0. So Newcastle, no changes at the break. So Hornacek, the goalkeeper, Dedic, Chow, Botman and Hall, the Newcastle back four. Then Sean Stir with Lewis Miley in midfield. Lewis Miley, who, starting this match, having only just come back from, if you remember, he fractured his fibula, Lewis Miley, in training at the end of last season, so has only played 45 minutes pre-season, but starting this match. So Sturr and Miley, the two in the middle, in the absence of, or the departure of Guimaraes and Tonali. Joe Linton injured, and then this front line of Alanga and Barnes wide, and Wissa and Osula central. And Liverpool with Alisson in goal, Frimpong, Jacquet, Van Dijk and Kerkez, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, Ngamoa, Wirtz, Gakpo and Isak. Here is Kerkez for Liverpool. He's almost lost balance there as he twisted and turned near the edge of the area, and eventually Liverpool did lose possession. And Chow chips it away to Wissa, who takes that down nicely, and then Gravenberch puts in a challenge on him. I think he got the ball, he got the man as well, but referee Stuart Atwell says, yeah, that's good for me. Yeah, good tackle.
Yeah, previous times that was given as a foul, not now, and I agree. Well done, good referee.
Yeah. And Gravenberch plays it out towards the far side to Frimpong. Here's Ngamoa, the man who won the match here between these sides last August, just about this time last year. That was Liverpool's first away match of last season, when they were defending champions. Arne Slot was still in charge. Here's Van Dijk. Oh, he's misplaced the pass behind Gakpo, and it bounces out of play for a throw-in to Newcastle, who do have other of their new signings on the bench. Bamba, Touré and Joanne as well, the new goalkeeper. As I mentioned in the first half, Nick Pope, it looks as though he's going to be heading out as well. Kieran Trippier as well, of course, is not around anymore. All of his experience. And Liverpool also have Victor Munoz and Ronald Araujo, their new signings, available on the bench as throw-in is given Newcastle's way. Gravenberch felt it should have gone the other way.
An intriguing little thing happened just a moment ago. About a minute ago, the referee walked over to Wissa and had a long chat with him, and you know he's saying, "You're close, mate, be careful, be very, very careful." 30 seconds later, Wissa goes in and closes down and almost gets another foul. He really is taking a chance just now, Wissa.
And that is because Wissa was booked in the first half. I mean, the message there is loud and clear. Here is Frimpong for Liverpool. There's a good energy about Liverpool at the start of the second half. There's too much energy in that pass from Ngamoa. It's gone all the way beyond Frimpong and through for a goal kick, much to the amusement and entertainment of probably 50,000 Newcastle fans. There's got to be 2,000 plus Liverpool fans up there in the top tier of the Leazes End. If you've been to St James's Park as an away fan, you'll know exactly the view that they've got up there. Be a magnificent view of Teesside. Maybe on a day like this you will be able to see Teesside. You'll certainly be able to see Tyneside. Might be able to see Wearside. But it was sparkling. Newcastle city centre, Gray's Monument, Eldon Square, as I walked through there a little bit earlier on. Here is a throw-in for Kerkez, up towards the halfway line, where Gakpo holds off the challenge of Dedic, and actually he's been brought back for a foul.
An earlier foul in the build-up there, the referee spotted that.
I think that was that, tangled by Dedic. So it's a free kick to Liverpool inside their own half. So Van Dijk spins the ball down, as they do. Blue skies over St James's Park. The 5 flags fluttering on the top of the east stand opposite us, with a backdrop of clear blue sky behind it. Van Dijk now to Wirtz. Socks right down, keeps his balance well, gives it to Kerkez, angles it back. Gakpo trying to find a position to shoot, which he does, and that was not far wide of the postage stamp corner of the Newcastle net.
Really nice play there, but he gets the ball out of his feet quickly. He knows exactly what he wants to do, cut up to that top corner. If it was on target, keeper has to get a sniff. He hasn't moved for it, he'll get nowhere near it at all. And Newcastle have got away with it. One of the best moments of the game so far from Liverpool, so they have started this second half quite well.
Will Service are with us as well, here on Tyneside at St James's Park, where Newcastle lead through that early Andoni Iraola goal. And we should as well, mentioning Hornicek there, At St James's Park, where Newcastle lead through that early Andoni Iraola goal. And we should as well, mentioning Hornicek there, away. The Newcastle manager, just 38 years old, asks more from the crowd. In fact, Gakpo is going to score! Right-footed with a shot from 23 yards, slight angle, low into the bottom corner. Hornicek couldn't get there, diving down to his right. Liverpool equalise. Newcastle 1, Liverpool 1, and there's the first Premier League goal scored under Andoni Iraola, who turns away, not even smiling, totally straight-faced.
Well, the strange thing about it is that exact position happened in the first half, but Liverpool didn't have a pop. This time they did have it. I think it was Gravenberch earlier on, and it was a big gap there to go and hit it, and didn't go for it. This time Gakpo didn't wait, and again exactly the same corner it was put in for the first goal. Great strike by him, and that is almost silenced the crowd. They aren't going to make that change just now, and it's taken a wee while. They're playing with 10 men in there for quite some time. Surely the charm has to come off, along with somewhat surprisingly for me, Sturr.
Yes, it's Sean Sturr who makes way, and then Osula as well. He's been given 10 minutes of the second half, and he grimaces as he walks off the pitch just down in front of us. So Sturr, that's it for the 18-year-old on his competitive debut for Newcastle, and Will Osula clearly with some sort of problem there, as you suggested, Pat, maybe Achilles ankle, something like that. And so Willock comes onto the field for Newcastle as they go back towards the edge of their own penalty area.
I think he should have made that change at half-time, John, because they couldn't go long because he was limping still, and because of that Liverpool just pressed and pressed and pressed.
And Ramsey, so Willock and Ramsey on for Newcastle, and there is quite a bit of talk doing the rounds at the moment that Liverpool might sell Gakpo or he might move on. It's Liverpool attack again. It's 1-1 now, and it's the Liverpool voices that you can hear echoing down from the top tier of the Leazes stand. Frimpong, back to Ngumoa, edge of the box, step over, left foot, oh, it's deflected, but it's deflected up in the air, and Newcastle half clear it. Gakpo shoots on the turn, that was blocked, he was off balance as he hit it, and Newcastle were able to get it away, and back to the halfway line it goes. And I have a feeling VAR might be having a look at something in amongst all of that. But Liverpool continue to attack. They're on top, Pat, right now. Yeah. They've scored the equaliser, and now Iraola's team up are trying to find a goal to get them in front. And Gamora across. Isak back to Gravenberch. He shoots. That's blocked. Comes back to Gravenberch. Tried to flick it into the box, but Newcastle were able to block that away. Wissa rides a couple of challenges. Still goes. Wissa through the centre circle. Still running with the ball. Gives it to his left. And then the shot. Oh, it's in! It's 2-1 to Newcastle. Just on the field, Joe Willock makes it 2-1 Newcastle. And Liverpool, who'd been on top, suddenly find themselves behind again. Newcastle 2, Liverpool 1.
Well, it's incredible. The problem they had, a solo, real problem, because he wasn't running, and it was allowing his team to get pushed further and further back, and there was no out ball. They take him off. What happens when they take him off? They break up, use the amazing pace that you've got from Wissa, who's furthest on there, and he just went clear of that Liverpool defence, and no one even went close to making a tackle there. Fabulous play by Newcastle. Brilliant by Willock getting up to help Wissa on that break there, and a really nice finish at the end of it.
Great work from Wissa. So strong. Challenges were made on him in the centre circle. I suspect Liverpool supporters will say they weren't strong enough, those challenges. He broke away from them, took the ball on, through the centre circle, still being pursued, and then just rolled it to his left, where Joe Willock was there. I remember the last time I saw him score was against Paris Saint-Germain in January. That was the only goal that he scored last season. That was a famous goal. Well, they've lapped this one up as well.
Yeah, again, I mean, he's got all the energy in the world there, having just come on there. But the pace, the real problem for Liverpool is the fear pace, and I'm going to have to face it again now.
I think it was maybe 4 minutes between the goals. As Newcastle come again down the left-hand side with Hall, but a free kick given against him. And 3 minutes between the goals. 57th minute, that second goal for Newcastle from Willock. Now, Cody Gakpo to the edge of the area. That's well tackled by Dedic. Excellent. I thought he was away there for a moment, Pat. Gakpo beyond Dedic. But Newcastle are able to bring it forward, but then in steps Frimpong. And now Gravenberg, who's passed it slightly behind Wirtz, who's 25 yards out. Now here's Gakpo. Gakpo flicks it across the box. That's blocked away by Miley. Kirkes goes around the outside of Elanga, crosses left-footed to the back post, hooked away by Ramsey. Back out to Gakpo. Oh, that was set up for him there. The first touch was excellent. It spun away, and he was ready for the second effort on his right foot. And he got the shot all wrong and sent it spiralling away beyond the top right corner.
We can't blame him for having a goal. He's just got one at that top corner, at the bottom corner, so he puts that towards the top corner, but not on target. But this second half has been chaos. We're only 15 minutes, dead on 15 minutes into, but it has been chaos. It's as if these two managers quite like that idea. There's a lot of managers out there, the old Pep Guardiola ones that love the control of the game. These two seem to love the chaos.
Shouts for handball against Xhaka as he challenged and won the ball back, and now Xhaka has been fouled, went to ground, and he was caught. And Matthias Jaissle, who's in our eye line down here in front of us in his black shoes, turns away, twists, arms in the air, protesting. Liverpool are going to bring on Alexis McAllister after his World Cup exploits, getting to the final again, the Argentine. So he's going to come on into the midfield. 2-1 Newcastle lead. It's 1-0 at half-time. Equaliser from Gakpo. Joe Willock, who's on the ball now, scoring. Might even have been his first touch since coming on. Left side of the box. Elanga plays it across the area, but Wissa can't get there for that. And Liverpool have got it and will bring it away from the left-back area. And Victor Munoz is also going to come on for his competitive debut for Liverpool. So the two men down there on the side of the pitch for Liverpool, that's Argentina and Spain. Last time we saw them, they're up against each other in the World Cup final. Munoz, an unused substitute for the new World Cup winners. Wirtz with the ball at his feet. How do you think he's done, Wirtz, today? A lot of speculation about how he'll fare this season.
Not enough, really. You have to be honest about it. You know, he's got lovely touches and all that sort of stuff, but there just hasn't been a space for him. He was closed down by both the central midfielders that he was playing against. First Stewart, then Miley. He just really hasn't had enough of an impact.
Oh, Miley, as Newcastle break away down the right. Elanga on the chase as well, but Miley couldn't find the pass. It's played out along the back. Frimpong's been put under pressure by Barnes, who charges down the clearance. And that's out of play for a throw into Liverpool. So we will see those changes now for Liverpool, and that is going to be it for Ngamoa. So Ngamoa's off. There'll be no late winner from the 17-year-old in St James's Park this season.
No, he didn't have a great effect in the game. He was up against a fullback that had the better of him for the vast majority of the game. And so he's been replaced, and understandably. And well, I think you've seen this coming, didn't you? Wirtz is coming off now. He was basically in the pocket of young Sean Stewart at the start of the game, and he is a fabulous player, but once again, far too quiet today.
Yeah. So we would expect, wouldn't we, the effect of that is that Szoboszlai will play a little further forward, and McAllister now alongside Gravenberg centrally, and Victor Munoz, who was signed this summer from Osasuna. He is a former Barcelona and Real Madrid youngster. Did play for Real Madrid, handful of appearances, but for Osasuna last season, 7 goals, 5 assists. He's obviously been identified as a rising star. Mentioned the fact he was in the Spanish World Cup winning squad, and now here he is making his competitive debut for Liverpool. And And I think he is going to play out on the right-hand side where Ungamore was.
Yeah, and Gakpo comes out to the left-hand side. He's comfortable. I was going to say he's comfortable there. He's comfortable anywhere.
Yeah. And what about it, as he's bundled over by Dedic. That's a free kick to Liverpool on the halfway line. Szoboszlai wanted to take it quickly. Kirkes had made himself available down the left.
Ball was moving, John. You're not allowed to do it when the ball's moving. I think if it had been static, I think the referee would have let that go there.
Yeah. And that's what he said to Szoboszlai. As Isak challenged. And then inside the penalty area, but I think the referee's already brought it back. And that's a yellow card for Ramsey.
Really? Oh yeah, for the first one.
Yeah.
The second one looked like a possible penalty kick.
Yeah.
But he's saying he's made
He'd already whistled.
Yeah, he'd already whistled. That's what he's saying.
And Andoni Iraola are saying, hang on, surely that should have been a penalty. But the whistle had already gone.
Do you know what? Again, I thought he got the ball in that first tackle. Again, we're a distance away here. We've not got the best. No, he doesn't get the ball, and Isak's gone down there. So he's gone to it. The referee didn't need to go to his whistle there. So he has done. Yellow comes out again.
Yeah.
And another good chance for Szoboszlai.
Jacob Ramsey booked. It's Newcastle United 2, Liverpool 1. 6:06 on the way, by the way. Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton for the first time with 6:06 during this Premier League season to talk about everything that's happened this weekend. Match of the day tonight. Search Football Daily on the BBC Sounds app for all of the reaction and all of the rich football content. But this free kick for Liverpool. Szoboszlai's ready. In he goes to the back post. Then stabbed across by Van Dijk, but he sort of sliced the half volley, and the goalkeeper Hornacek was able to comfortably catch it above his head.
He didn't expect it. That's the point. He thought someone would get the head on it before it. By the time it came to him, he couldn't adjust his feet. He gets in some great position, Van Dijk, doesn't he? For a centre-back, he is absolutely fabulous at that.
Yeah, 8 goals last season. I mentioned the fact he's out of contract at the end of this season, but we'll just have to see what happens during the course of this season. Ball played for Gakpo, breaking away. Chow trying to get there. He's into the box on the left. He cuts back, and that meant that Chow was able to get the challenge. And actually, very good work from Botman as well, who was the defender that Gakpo was running at. And between them, the two Newcastle central defenders dealt with that. And Gakpo, in the end, didn't get an attempt in on goal.
Yeah,
Liverpool come again, though. Here is Victor Munoz. His ball across the area. That's blocked by Hall. Munoz is able to collect possession again. Thought about crossing on his left foot. He's back on his right. Here's the ball into the box. Isak goes for goal, but mishit it. They enjoyed that in the Leazes and the Newcastle fans. And now here's Witter breaking forward again. It was Witter who set up that second Newcastle goal for Willock. Played to Alanga on the right. And he just checks back. And the momentum's just slowed. Although it's back to Ramsey. Then Ramsey square to Barnes. Barnes 23 yards out. Ramsey again. Out it goes out towards the left-hand side for Willock. Willock just inside the left side of the penalty area. And then Hall arrives. And actually, this is a rare thing in this second half. Newcastle with a spell of possession inside Liverpool territory. Miley to Hall. Hall's ball across. Witter with a touch of the near post, but couldn't direct it on target. And that actually glanced it all the way across the 6-yard box. Newcastle still in possession though. Comes back to Dedic. Puts his foot on the ball. The Newcastle right back. And then Elanga. Back to Miley. Does well, excellent balance, and now Elanga's going to have a goal for goal, and Alisson drops to his right and gathers the ball into his chest.
Actually, if you're a Liverpool fan, if you're absolutely honest about it, every time Newcastle attack, you're having kittens. You're worried, sick, because you know you haven't got the pace, but also the movement is fantastic. There was a little 1-2 there on the right hand side at the end of that extended move there, and both Kirkes and Szoboszlai didn't go with their runners, just allowed the runners to go. You cannot do that. It's not acceptable at this level. Really, really surprising. I think they're very fortunate, Liverpool, that they're not 3-1 down just now, because that was 2 or 3 great chances that Liverpool could have given away, but the final pass just wasn't quite there from Newcastle.
We are midway through the second half. You know what would have happened at this time when we were in the United States, of course? We're not missing those, are we?
Never know.
Here's Victor Munoz with a cross from the right-hand side. Oh, Clark, Gakpo with a chance, back to the edge of the area. Oh, Isak mishits it. And that is as popular a thing that has happened inside St James's Park all afternoon. He spoons it, Isak, over the top of the crossbar and is being mocked widely.
That is, honestly, it's actually so bad it's funny. I mean, it's straight. It's a rugby kick. It's straight. It's over the post, and Twickenham, that'd be great. It was straight over the top from about 16 yards, and he got it all wrong. And that was his chance, his first chance he's had, and he made a real mess of it.
Newcastle leading 2-1. Iraola is going to make a change very shortly. It's Araujo who's going to come on, the on loan Barcelona central defender. Newcastle searching for a third goal. That would make it very difficult for Liverpool. Willock and Elanga together, and Willock has played it off McAllister and it bounces out of play. And here's the change, and it's going to be Jeremy Jaissle who comes off. The summer arrival, the number 5, the former Rennes central defender. This has been his first competitive appearance since February. He had a shoulder injury which meant he missed most of the second half of the season. So Araujo comes on for him. Rugged, I think, is the word that you would use about Araujo, the Uruguayan World Cup player. And he's standing inside the penalty area already, it seems, rippling his muscles. Here's Willock on the right. Willock turns, Alisson pushes it away. Ramsey with a shot, but that's through a crowd of players and wide of the post, actually probably by 2 or 3 yards.
Now, if I'm saying in the commentary here that every Liverpool fan is having kittens every time they get attacked, you're not surprised it brings on another centre-back, are you? Maybe just slightly surprised they didn't keep 3 on, because they cannot cope with the pace of all those Newcastle players there. And Newcastle, it's just that final pass, that real last bit of class to pass the ball through and get a tap in once or twice. They've not been able to do it.
Offside flag up, and actually McAllister has thrown Willock to the ground, but the whistle had already gone. It's a free kick for offside. Free kick to Liverpool. Newcastle leading by 2 goals to 1. Liverpool did get level through the Gakpo shot, but within 3 minutes, substitute Joe Willock, made it 2-1 to Newcastle again. Andoni Iraola, remember, was unbeaten in his last 18 Premier League matches as the Bournemouth manager. Last time he lost a match was here in the FA Cup against Newcastle, when Bournemouth lost on penalties. Alisson passing the ball out from the back to Van Dijk. I was trying to think, what is it about Alisson that looks different? I can see his legs.
The socks.
He's not got his, whatever you call them,
the bottoms,
yeah, the sort of tight bottoms, whatever. So we can see his knees.
And he's also wearing very unusual socks, white socks, yeah. Socks and white boots. It's a very retro look.
Ball out of play, misplaced pass for Liverpool, and Newcastle inching closer to what would be a first win under their new manager Matthias Jaissle, this 38-year-old German who won his first 3 matches, or rather, shall I say, he won his first matches with his 3 previous clubs as a head coach. Ball played out to Lewis Hall. Lines open for 606, 08, 085, 909 693, and that is free to call from mobiles and landlines to speak to Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. And here is the ball played forward by Lewis Hall, but cleared away by Araujo for Liverpool, and then it's taken on down the right by Liverpool's new number 23, Victor Munoz, who cuts in field. Still going Munoz to the edge of the area. Szoboszlai is challenged. The ball runs all the way to Gakpo. Now to Kerkez. Kerkez across, but beyond the closest Liverpool player to it, who was Isak in the middle. Couldn't get a touch, and it's all the way through, and it's Newcastle's ball, and they continue to lead 2-1.
Usually we're told when the ball comes out, if you've got a left wing there, you put it between the centre-backs and the goalkeeper, and you've done your job. On that occasion, I think he can do more. I think he can aim at the player. I think he can try and pick out Isak there. He didn't. He just whipped it across there. Too much pace. Isak couldn't get to it.
Yeah, let's be clear. Isak had no chance with that. As Liverpool come forward again. Here is Szoboszlai, now playing in a more advanced role, running at the Newcastle defence, running at Miley, slips it between the legs of a defender, but Hall is able to step in. Gravenberg couldn't get there, and it's cleared away downfield. And there are still best part of 20 minutes to play. Newcastle leading 2-1, and that clearance there had a little touch of rearguard action about it.
Well, especially the fact that Wissa didn't chase it. And thinking about it, he's against Araujo. You've got to find out how quick Araujo is, because he had the pace of all the other defenders. We've not tried that yet, so I wait with interest to find out if he has got the pace to live with those Newcastle attackers.
Newcastle 2, Liverpool 1. County Cricket Championship is the choice of listening you've got now on Sports Extra by your BBC Sounds app. And during the course of this season, we will, as we always have, bring you more radio Premier League commentaries than you'll find anywhere else. And in fact, the next 2 Newcastle matches are on 5 Live. West Brom. In the Carabao Cup on Wednesday night, Sports Extra, and then Tottenham away next Saturday, 5:30. Liverpool coming forward, but that's overhit by Munoz and all the way through for a goal kick to Newcastle United, and relief and applause all around the black and white sections of St James's Park. And if it stays like this, and they've still got a long way to go, Newcastle, the way that Liverpool are playing, you know, the Newcastle supporters will feel that is a fitting way to mark the tributes that we saw to Kevin Keegan before the start of the match. Araujo heading it away, bounces off Szoboszlai to Wissa. And Wissa now, I can see the perspiration glistening on the top of his head as Szoboszlai puts in a challenge on him. Down Wissa goes and wins a free kick to Newcastle. Out towards the right.
That's one of those ones he had to give the free kick there, he almost. Because if Wissa, he didn't give the free kick there, he almost has to book Wissa for diving. Because he's come across him. I hesitate for a moment because I think Wissa's lucky again there. I don't think there was much in that, and he just collapsed. Another couple of changes.
Newcastle, the man who scored the first goal under Matthias Jaissle's Premier League management, Anthony Elanga, is applauding the crowd. He's off the field, and Lewis Miley as well. I'm not surprised he hasn't made it, having only played 45 minutes pre-season, and that means that Jacob Murphy is on, who is quite the favourite here, and we're going to see a competitive debut for the 20-year-old midfielder signed from Monaco, £30 million. Alaji Bamba, the number 8, is on into the thick of things as Newcastle have this free kick. Lewis Hall to take it. Hall, he hasn't got that anywhere near how he wanted it. It was an easy header away by Kirkes on the edge of his own box. Meanwhile, Liverpool are going to make another change, and one of their youngsters who has played pre-season, Lewis Koumas, son of the former Tranmere man, Jason Koumas.
Teammate of mine.
Yes. Gravenberg now to Frimpong. His cross is blocked up into the air. Frimpong continues. Shot from the angle by Munoz. That's blocked inside the box. I think there are half shouts that it might have struck an arm in there, but Newcastle have cleared it out for a throw down the left-hand side. Throw in for Liverpool.
He's seen that. He said he's seen that one and just said, no, go on, I'm close enough.
Araujo is going to take this, Pat.
Well, I suspect that might be a long one then.
Must have a long throw in him. We're going to see the change though before that, so that means he's got plenty of time to prepare for this long throw. And it is Gravenberg who will be replaced by Lewis Koumas, who is, well, he can play on the wing, he can play up front. He did score pre-season on the tour when they were in America against Sunderland. So on he comes, Lewis Koumas, as the ball is from the long throw into the Newcastle box, cleared partially away, and then there's a foul as Newcastle were bringing it away. A foul on, I think it's Alexis McAllister, who is down clutching his leg, and a yellow card is being shown to, I think, Malik Chow, possibly more for what he said than anything else.
Again, he seemed to get a little bit of the ball, but there was a follow through and stamped slightly on his toe there. I think McAllister will be okay there. Quite a harsh yellow card, it has to be said.
Matter of fact, it is Jacob Murphy who was booked, and it was Murphy. It was Murphy who caught McAllister, even though it was Chow who was next to the referee. I think he was pleading his innocence, but the yellow card is for Jacob Murphy. Right, free kick, 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. Last 10 minutes of what has been a match that has been difficult to take your eyes off. Newcastle twice in front.
He's had a few sighters, Szoboszlai, hasn't he?
Yep, and this is 25 yards, or thereabouts. Szoboszlai, slightly left of centre, with his right foot. Szoboszlai hits this, it strikes the top of the wall, bounces high into the Newcastle box, hoisted up in the air, not cleared, and then the shot from McAllister. That's blocked, lifted across the box, Araujo! But I think the whistle had already gone before it was volleyed over the top of the crossbar by Lewis Kumas.
It's one of those games that's, because there have been so many substitutions in such a quick period of time, it's really messy now. And again, I think Newcastle are kind of okay with that. They don't mind that, because if it's a bit messy, players are caught out of position, you're able to break now and again. I'm just kind of watching who's got the energy left to make that last run, and particularly the likes of Wissa up front.
Kumas is sort of playing in an advanced midfield role. It's actually sort of number 10 position, Lewis Kumas, and this is his Premier League debut. Just his second competitive appearance for Liverpool. He was on loan last season at both Birmingham and Hull City, so he was part of the Hull City promotion, which resulted in that eye-catching result yesterday for Hull City, which I still think will be top of the bill tomorrow in the Monday Night Club with Mark Chapman on 5 Live. Ball forward for Wissa, but the offside flag is up. Well, Araujo seemed to be
That's beyond
significantly beyond Wissa.
I stand to be corrected, but there were 2 players offside, but it wasn't Wissa, and neither of those players were going for the ball. No. Very strange decision there.
Newcastle 2, Liverpool 1. 6:06 with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton coming once on 5 Live. Aaron Paul has rounded everything up, likewise. Deleth Lloyd will be doing the same on the World Service. But on 5 Live, 08085 909 693 to join in the debate on 6:06. And then Gakpo has a look at the ground as he mishits a pass out of play.
Oh, come on, you don't get bobbled. You don't get bobbled. He just mishit it there and a little bit carried away. Now, the question mark for Newcastle, certainly at half-time and just before half-time, was would they run out of gas? And I thought they probably would. But the changes they've made, that's really, really helped them. There seems to be a little bit more energy about them again now. Yeah,
Gakpo was a bit like some of those Pakistan fielders this week at Headingley. The second test, by the way, test match special on Thursday. US Open tennis as well, 5 Live and Sports Extra over the course of the coming weeks, not far away. And the Checkered Flag podcast as well on BBC Sounds after today's Dutch Grand Prix for all of the follow-up. Here is McAllister centre field. McAllister sending it forward. Frimpong now taking it on down the right-hand side. Frimpong, Barnes tries to get there. He's got Munoz onto his left foot, then back onto his right. Hauling with a challenge. Good challenge as well. Played it into Munoz and it's behind. Off the Liverpool man for a Newcastle goal kick.
Hall's been superb. Absolutely superb in that left-back area.
Contender for man of the match?
Yes, he is, because, he's got a big job to do. And when you're marking your winger and your winger gets taken off, you've done well. And then the guy comes on his place, you're not giving him much of a chance either. And you've got forward quite a few times as well. I think he had superb seasons before, but he looks as if he's made a further step on, and maybe not having any World Cup to take his mind off it and give him a little bit of a rest, that's possibly helped him as he's matured.
Yeah, I think that's been a factor with a number of players, don't you, over the course of this weekend. So 2-1 Newcastle lead, on course for their first league win against Liverpool for 10.5 years, over a decade. In fact, the last Newcastle winning manager against Liverpool in the Premier League was Steve McLaren. Here is Szoboszlai playing it out towards the left-hand side. Gakpo, the man who scored the Liverpool goal, turns and gives it back out towards the left. And then Gakpo receives it again. Van Dijk now. Liverpool have to go all the way back towards the halfway line. 6 minutes of the 90 to play, and then added time. At the moment, Joe Willock's goal would be the winner. Van Dijk picks out Kirkes, Gakpo, Van Dijk again, McAllister, Liverpool popping the ball around in the central third of the field. Black and white stripes en masse behind the ball in front of the Leazes end. Now to the right hand side, Frimpong, change of feet, past Barnes, Frimpong's cross, stretching header by Isak, got up high but couldn't get any power on it and just ballooned really the header goalwards, and it was caught by Hornicek.
I'm just watching the referee. 3, 2, keeper has got to get rid of it now, and he does, because he did that, threw himself to the ground after catching it. You can't do that anymore.
No, you can't. As the ball bounces out of play. I mean, that's a great addition as well. Goal kicks, throw-ins. As I was saying with Michael Brown yesterday, though, the point is when and it's down to the official with throw-ins when they start the countdown. Long pass forward. No, that's disappearing straight out of play from Van Dijk, way over the top of Gakpo. It's a throw-in to Newcastle. 5 minutes to play.
I think if you look at what Liverpool have got on the pitch just now, in comparison what you expected, Wirtz, Isak playing at his best, Ekitike and all that, it's just none of that is there, obviously, just now.
Willock plays it over the top. Wissa is away from Araujo, into the box. And it's saved by Alisson. He was one-on-one. Alisson came out, narrowed the angle well and blocked it with his leg. Could easily have been a third goal, but Liverpool interested at the other end. Munoz into the box. Munoz shoots, but that's blocked by Botman. Threw himself feet first in front of the effort and was able to block it away. Munoz again has recaptured possession. Back to Kumas. Kumas with a touch. McAllister 30 yards out. Kirkes gets involved. Kirkes, middle of the half. But Newcastle are back in position now. Wissa's only just crossing back over the halfway line. He'll feel like he should have scored there.
Yeah, he should have. The ball just wouldn't come down. It was bouncing quite high, and he just needed it coming down another 6 inches or so. Had to snap it slightly early. Couldn't get any power.
So it's still in the balance. Newcastle 2-1 up. Gakpo, deep ball across the penalty area, but Munoz blatantly shoved Lewis Hall. And even if the ball hadn't drifted all the way through for a goal kick, I think that would begin as a free kick to Newcastle.
You'd argue that's, for all the fact that Newcastle have sat quite deep or been pushed deep, I think it's more they've sat back a lot and just tried to survive these last 10, 15, 20 minutes. The best chance of the second half of having the goals is clearly that one by Wissa, and he should have put it away. He is looking really, really lively, but he's put a shift in today, Wissa. You mentioned early on you think he's going to have a good season. It looks back to his old self. I would agree with that.
He does. The Wissa who scored the 20 goals for Brentford the season before last. And Newcastle 2-1 up on this glorious August evening, as it is now here on Tyneside. Warm and pleasant. And Lewis Kumas, curly haired, number 67, on the left, chips the ball into the penalty area, but Chow's going to make sure that bounces all the way through for a goal kick, even though Kirkes was battling away. A goal kick it is, and Stuart Atwell's going to be on this for the countdown again. Hornicek's trying to take as long as possible over this, but once he gets the ball down, the countdown begins. There we are.
Yeah, letting them know. That's great. Keeps the game flowing, keeps the game going. Again, you've mentioned a few times about Botman and Chow. They have looked really good together today, haven't they? I mean, Isak's not caused them any problems, but part of that is because the centre-backs have taken it in turns and marking them.
Yeah, in the absence of Dan Burn, and Isak certainly had an off day. And Liverpool again, no attack. Hall, though, steps across and takes it away from Frimpong. 6:06 on the way. Waiting for your calls. Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. 08 085 909 693. Text 85058 to book your call, or get in touch at BBC 606. Villa supporters. It was interesting hearing Unai Emery at half-time talking about Ollie Watkins not involved for Villa today. Newcastle breaking away over the halfway line. The third goal now would finish off Liverpool. Here's the man who scored the second. Willock does well, holds it up, gives it to Barnes. Barnes now to Jacob Murphy. Murphy up against Kirkes, trying to go around the outside. Murphy's ball all the way across the 6-yard box. No one could get a touch. Wissa, Willock closest to it. it's out for a throw on the far side.
You take my point that every time they go forward, they look as if they can make a chance, Newcastle. Every single time they go forward, the ball comes across the box, there are gaps, there are spaces there. As I say, if you're a Liverpool fan, you're having kittens every single time they attack.
Ball won back by Bamba in midfield. Good tackle. That's what he was brought in for. And then Murphy as well. Oh, and there's a coming together there by Isak and Chow. Isak just ran into him and Chow didn't react. So Hornacek was able to clear. Gakpo, then Wissa. Wissa's been taken out by Van Dijk. Referee plays the advantage. Willock's got a lot to do. Into the D, still going. He's challenged. Ball runs to Barnes. Barnes shot. That's deflected across the box. Wissa is then able to take it on, and then Van Dijk gets a foot in to stab it out of play near the corner flag.
Well, Van Dijk's got to get a yellow card. Surely. Come on. That's just a wipeout. An absolute wipeout. Come on, referee. Yeah, gone over.
It's a yellow card for Van Dijk. I just think that they might be having a look at that to see if it might be more than a yellow.
I don't think it's serious also. I think it's a yellow card, but it's a absolutely robust yellow.
5 minutes of added time. And Matthias Jaissle down there in his beige trainers, that dark hair of his swept back, turns, comes and says something to someone who's out of our sight sitting behind him on the Newcastle bench. Just noticed a packet of sweets on top of the Newcastle
I can tell you exactly why they're there.
Go on.
The first goal. It was thrown from way behind us.
Gravenberg, forward to Kumas. Kumas taking it on now. Chow comes across, left side of the area, shoots, but it was deflected away by the recovering Dedic, who just about got himself in position to deflect it.
He just recovered from an injury, John, and he was saying, can I come off? I'm exhausted and I've got an injury. And the manager said, no, get back. And he had to go back about 60 yards there. Desperate challenge, and makes the right, well-timed challenge right inside that 18-yard box. And they're living on the edge, yes, but you would expect that.
We are less than 4 minutes away from what would be a Newcastle opening win. Szoboszlai with the corner though. Oh, good punch by goalkeeper Hornacek. Comes out to Frimpong. Frimpong trying to find a position to shoot, which he does. Left-footed, but that's blocked. A whole crowd of players on the edge of the penalty area. Then Murphy takes it away, but Rover runs it straight out of play. Throw into Liverpool. And the ball's bounced back onto the pitch on the far side, so Frimpong had to go and knock it off the field. So Liverpool get going again. Anxious moments for the Newcastle supporters.
Virgil van Dijk playing centre forward.
Yeah, with Isak. Here's Gakpo. Gakpo drifting infield to Newcastle man there, Szoboszlai. Now back to Gakpo. Gakpo up against Dedic. Gets the ball in right-footed. Headed away by Botman. Comes out to Araujo. Actually plays it back behind him to Kirkes. Szoboszlai again. Newcastle, it's a defensive operation now. Gakpo on the left against Dedic. Got the ball past him, but hands on his back. Dedic goes down. Free kick Newcastle. Even though Gakpo wriggled away with the ball, it's a Newcastle free kick. And actually Stuart Atwell has now walked all the way back there and has booked Hornacek. So he's already booked him for time wasting
before he did it. Yeah, that's a wee bit of a surprise, that. But again, Dedic, the first real chance to have a good look at him, and obviously the manager knew what he was getting there. He absolutely knew. Very comfortable coming into this game. He's been superb there, and you can say that about the entire back line in Newcastle. I think they've had to work hard, but they've all worked together and understood each other, and hard to pick between them, but probably just give it to Hall.
Well, I noticed in his opening remarks in his first match programme in the Premier League, Matthias Jaissle used the phrase, when everyone sticks together, which I thought, that tells you that he sensed that, there's a bit of unrest because of the players who've left. Eddie Howe, of course, for many, the very, very popular manager. Kirkes out to the left-hand side. Gakpo now across the corner of the box, clips it in. Headed away though by Bamba for Newcastle. Araujo gets it down. Frimpong deep in added time now. Liverpool searching for the equaliser. Remember the late goal last season. Frimpong twisting again on the right, back onto his left foot inside the area, challenged by Barnes, keeps his feet, and Barnes has been fouled, and it's a free kick to Newcastle. And listen to how that free kick decision's been cheered.
Well, a number of reasons for that. Yeah, they were under massive amounts of pressure, but on top of that, these Newcastle fans have been here before, and not just against Liverpool last season. The amount of times they've lost late goals, they've been in great positions, they've run out of gas, been too tired. Well, they're kind of almost half expecting it to happen, but it's not happening so far, and this is a very intelligent change they're making.
Yes, it is. Wissa, who is on a yellow card. Schär comes on with his experience, Fabian Schär, the former Swiss international. And Wissa, that will be, I would say that would be all round as good a performance probably as he's put in for Newcastle since he joined the club.
Yeah, he's so peripheral in so many other games, but now he seemed quite central to a lot of the action there, and they frightened, as I say, the living daylights out of that entire Liverpool defence, where they went right, left or through the centre. So yeah, he's going to improve.
2-1 to Newcastle, 5 live on the World Service, 6:06 on the way, but still we play. Kirkes with a long pass, headed away by Chow, comes out Muniz in the box, oh, he's been challenged, fouled by Hall, possibly, is it a penalty? It is! Liverpool win a penalty in the 6th minute of added time. Hall, who's been so good, Victor Munoz found a space in the box, Hall in with a challenge, and down went the Liverpool man.
I think Hall's shouting that he ran into him. He didn't do anything, he ran into him. And to be honest, I think he's got a point. Yeah, there's contact, people say there's contact. He's run. Oh, I tell you what.
Well,
it's one of those ones.
We've been told this season that VAR will have a light touch.
It's not going to change that one. I mean, it is good contact, it is big contact.
It's been confirmed, it is a penalty. It is a penalty, they will not overturn that. And Liverpool, from the penalty spot, will have the chance to equalise. Now who is going to take this penalty, I wonder?
It's a tricky one. You think she'll Isak, it's going to be Isak.
I'm thinking of someone else.
It's got to be Isak.
It's not obvious at the moment. And at the moment, Gakpo has got the ball under his arm. Now, Isak has not had a good day. Really, nothing's gone his way today. He's been booed, vilified throughout. Gakpo's got the ball.
That means nothing.
It means nothing these days. And still we're seeing the aftermath. Players are still milling around inside the penalty area. And
Isak's staying well away from it just now. Having said so,
they've now all gone to the penalty spot.
You want Isak to take it, don't you? It's one of those moments, isn't it, that if he walks up, the noise will be deafening. It'll be the last kick of the game.
And Van Dijk's in there as well, so he'll be playing a part in this. Also, McAllister walks across. Where is Isak?
He's on the D.
He's on the D. Yeah, he's in the D.
Away from everything, which is sometimes these days a good sign.
Do you know, I think it's going to be Szoboszlai. I think they've given the ball to Szoboszlai. So Dominik Szoboszlai, Liverpool's player of last season in that disappointing season, has the opportunity here. It'll be virtually the last kick of the match. It's a short run-up. Szoboszlai, Hornacek standing, arms raised on his line, the Newcastle goalkeeper. Liverpool, their supporters looking down from up on high. Szoboszlai staring down at the ball, slightly behind and to the left of it. Liverpool's number 8. Now, Staley waits, looks to the referee, then back to the ball. And now Szoboszlai, brilliant penalty! Superbly struck, high into the net, above Hornacek's dive to his right, and it is 2-2. And Matthias Jaissle and Newcastle are denied victory in his first Premier League match in charge. 2-2 on the day that we've remembered Kevin Keegan. It looks as though the points will be shared between the two clubs with which he will be best associated.
And as you say, that is as good a penalty kick as you take. Smashed right into the top corner, really comfortably done there. And of course that substitution, which looked like the most sensible thing to do, to bring on another centre-back, take off your centre-forward, and where does it come? That area, the ball's just played in, and Hall, who has been superb all day, he's static, he doesn't do anything, but he's in the position where the forward's running into him, and it's desperate for these Newcastle fans.
News ring around St James's Park. A rather chastened Matthias Jaissle turns to his left and walks across and shakes hands with Andoni Iraola, who was saved from an opening defeat in his first Premier League match as the Liverpool manager by that goal in the 9th minute of added time. So last season here, Liverpool won it with a goal in the 10th minute of added time. This time round, this August, they've salvaged a draw. But I must say, there is something that does feel quite apt after the brilliant tribute to Kevin Keegan pre-match. As I say, the two clubs that he will be most associated with, and the way that they came together to remember Kevin Keegan, I think there is something that feels right about it being a draw, a point each.
Yeah, and Liverpool will say they had much more of the play, much more of the ball, didn't create a huge amount of chances. In the end, it wasn't even a chance, it was just a penalty kick that got them what they would say they deserved there. There wasn't a great deal in it, but I just thought, you know, you can see the weaknesses that Liverpool had last season. They've not gone away. The lack of creativity from a team that you expect huge amounts from. On top of that, that defence doesn't look quite right. I will say Araujo came on and thought he looked quite impressive. Very, very powerful, very, very strong. Looks as if, you never know, he might well be a massive part of the answer. So when he came on, it was a little bit better, but certainly in terms of pace, there is a problem there. But going forward, they need to be a little bit more creative. And Isak, you just need to get so much more out of him, not getting enough out of him. And for Newcastle, you can't help feel sorry for him because they worked hard and they have got stunning amounts of pace. You feared for them before this game, John. I don't fear for them now.
No. Difficult day for Isak, and he found it difficult out on the pitch. And Liverpool's players going over towards the Leazes end to applaud their supporters, and actually all of the players mingling together, Liverpool and Newcastle United, and that feels right as well on what's been a memorable day. If you do get a chance, social media, newspapers in the morning, some of the pictures, match of the day tonight, watch that, the coverage. You really need to see the way that these two clubs remembered Kevin Keegan here today. That will be the abiding memory. And the match finishes Newcastle United 2, Liverpool 2, after Newcastle were twice in front.
John, thank you so much. Pat, I was going to come back and say that was a galvanising performance by Newcastle, but it really just, I mean, the air got sucked out of St James's Park, and I mean, there's plenty to take from both sides. It was all action, it was hard working, it was gritty, it was determined.
Yeah, I mean, the overview from Newcastle's position is there was a fear. They've lost so many big name players, and we've talked about it. I listened to you talking before the show and the build up to it, saying there's that fear factor of so many of those big name players leaving. What's going to happen? Well, I look at them out here and I see plenty of energy. I see a real buy-in for the players. I see young players coming through looking as if they're A, good enough, and B, going to improve as well. So yeah, I think Newcastle fans will walk away today and think, right, okay, gutted again. And by the way, may I apologise right away to Newcastle fans. In the 95th minute I've said, yeah, that looks like they've done it now. They've suffered so many times. You can't say it too early for Newcastle. The amount of times I've watched them get done right at the end, and it's happened again. But in reality, I think there's far more positives to be taken for Newcastle than negatives. Liverpool, it's a different question, because Liverpool, you're expecting to be top four, at least top four, and it didn't look like a top four team today. I think there's a long, long way to go, but then there are more players to come in just now, and you can't really make a real decision how their season's going to go. A definite lack of creativity, and somehow they must get the best out of Wirtz. They must get the best out of Isak. because they certainly didn't get the best out of them today.
Pat, thank you so much. John, thank you to you as well. So on an emotional day on Tyneside, it finished Newcastle 2, Liverpool 2. Earlier, Manchester City left it late to come from behind to beat Bournemouth 2-1. Brighton thrashed Aston Villa 4-0. Meanwhile, Formula 1 returned from its summer break as reigning world champion Lando Norris made it back-to-back wins at the Dutch Grand Prix. Championship leader Kimi Antonelli was second in his Mercedes, with teammate George Russell in third. And Leeds went top of the Super League after they beat York 66 points to 16. Warrington Wolves were also winners over Huddersfield. Next up on 5 Live is 606 with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton, which follows the latest 5 Live news with Joe Critcher.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The family of PC Tom Clough, who died along with another officer.